Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to the Lemons iRacing League. I am Eric Root, Everything Bagel at the 24 Hours of Lemons. Thank you for joining us for our first ever Sunday
Fun day.
of iRacing excitement. Last Thursday, we came to you from California's capital of wine and cheese. Tonight, we visit the Midwest's finest land of cheese and beer, Wisconsin. Yes, it's Road America, and we've got a 2-hour endurance race in store for you. You paid for the whole toilet seat, folks, but you're only going to need the edge. Be sure to join the conversation on Facebook Live, YouTube, or Twitch, wherever you're watching. Get ready for something approximating motorsports. Pour yourself some Point Lager and grab a cheddar brick. It's time for 2 hours of virtual suckiness. Joining me, as always, are my broadcast partners this week, Sean Yoder of Nemesis Lab and Ryan Bauer, aka the Bearded Sim Racer.
I'm talking first tonight, Sean, so just deal with that. No. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. I don't know whether I go first, second, last.
Hey, you're on the slide before me, so we'll go in that order from now on, but glad you could join us tonight, and glad to be here, and I'm really excited. We have, looks like 29, 30, 31, 32, 34 teams out here, guys, or 33 teams, because I think it's like 62 cars, or 62 drivers, but yeah, 33 different cars out here. Looks like a good mixture in the classes. I'm just really excited. It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be a thing. It's the first time we've done the endurance format, so we're super excited for that. And it looks like people are really gravitating towards the team part of this more than I think we expected. It's going to be really great.
It's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. We're already getting people asking if we can do this on a street course. I vote for Long Beach.
Long Beach Tech Track, yeah, $5.
Silly.
Yeah, I don't know what there's any issues with it. I think it's just graphical, so we could totally do that.
Yeah, it's literally just it's polygons where the buildings and roller coasters should be.
I wonder if we could draw our own buildings and put them in there. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Only if you did that and then you handed it and we sent out stencils.
Yes.
And people could draw
fan art. Yes. Mm-hmm. I will send templates if people will actually paint them. That would be so awesome. We should do that for cars. Like every person has to have like a contingency on their car, and we could make some cool stuff.
Should point out that Turn 5 is presented to you this week by your uncle in Stevens Point. He's got four-wheelers, snowmobiles, and he snuck you your first beer in 3rd grade. So thank you, your uncle in Stevens Point.
It's great to have an uncle.
Yep.
I can't remember mine giving me a beer, but I did find some of his pot stashed one time, so that was pretty sweet.
There you go.
So yeah, thanks, Uncle Ken. You're the best.
Same kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ryan brought that up to me while you went and checked on things, and he was like, "Do you know what this is referencing?" I was like, "No, Ryan, I have no idea. No clue."
I assumed you were on that level. I apologize.
Yep. No, I mean, I've grown up. I grew up in Northern Illinois, and everybody has relatives in Wisconsin. I don't know what it is, but somebody in your family will always have gone north, and will be living free and driving the sled to the bar in the winter, as you do in northern Wisconsin.
Watching out for moose, because moose, don't hit the moose. Whatever you do, don't hit the moose.
So, ACR Speed asking if Judge Phil will be joining us. I believe Phil will drop in at some point. He is also very
one can
busy
only
with
hope.
Work. So, but yeah, we love when
fingers
Phil's
crossed over here for that. Definitely. Shout out to our viewers on Twitch. We love you. Hope you're having a good night.
How many are there?
Let's have a look. I'm going in through RTMP. We have 6 viewers, and they're already chatting. We love you guys. How are you guys doing tonight? Shout out to the Twitch crowd over at twitch.tv/beardedsimracer. We love you.
That's a straight up raid level involvement for
That
Twitch.
is. Six is a lot. Like we went before. I should have looked when the countdown timer was going, but you guys, all 6 of you, you know who you are. I'm talking to you, ECR Speed, you, the Ringworm, you, the Speedster, Mellow Grinds. We love you.
I love that there's so many of them there we can actually name them.
They're active in the chat. I don't even have to move my mouse. I just have to look at the chat. This is exactly what we're looking for. Tell your friends if they're into Twitch, and for some reason, if you live under a rock and you don't do YouTube or Facebook, we just wanted to make it possible for everybody to view. And we're also on Mixer at mixer.com/beardedsimracer. So just pretty much any platform where you'd want to watch some great, and by great I mean
Adequate.
Thank you. I was going to say
Ish.
excellent, but yes, exactly. So
It's great in its
staff
own way.
in the house. You are here.
It's great in its own way. We have 2 people watching on Mixer, according to my stats.
That's excellent. That's you two. That's you two.
It probably is.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we typically use that as a production feed, but it's a platform too for iRacing, and it's basically Microsoft's version of Twitch. All the people can watch it on their consoles or phones or whatever. So, just it's nice. It has low latency features, and it's great. So we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in warm up. Smoke them if you got them.
Nice.
BHM is voting for Detroit for the road course, for the street course.
Oh yes, Belle Isle. It's
Belle Isle, but I'd rather do Long Beach. I like Long Beach.
2 a.m. in the
Definitely more
UK.
lemony.
Sorry, I'm just reading chat and talking.
Which one's more lemon?
I say Long Beach is more lemony. It's not
Belle
finished.
Isle is just because Detroit,
Oh, well, true. Everyone's sad.
Are there-
Everyone is sad
are
in
those
Detroit.
Those are the only 2 street courses in iRacing, aren't they?
So we could make it the Big 3 We're Sad For You Memorial Race?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Yep. I wish there was a Chrysler of some manner in iRacing.
Right.
There can be. You can add whatever graphics you want to the front end of the Camaro.
That's true.
You could.
Man,
The Twitch
charge
name
the
is
charger grill.
Bearded Sim Racer on Twitch. Zachariah Harris.
should flip through some of the cars.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Sorry about that. I'm just having a
Work our
grand
way
old
through
time.
the field.
Yeah, here we go. So a new feature that you'll see tonight, guys, is team names on the screen because this is an enduro. Oh yeah, explain that to the folks at home as we click through and look at some of the cars. Explain to them what's going on here because not only do we have drivers, but we have a team dynamic going on here where drivers will share the same car. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, so it's a 2-hour race. The fuel settings are roughly about 30 minutes on a tank of gas the way we have them set up. So we'll need to do three stops. And you need each of your 2 drivers, or 3 if you have them. You can run as many as you want, really. But all your drivers have to get in the car at some point during the race. So,
Did you do the fair share thing?
I think it's just a 30-minute minimum. So somebody can drive 93.
Nice. See, this is my style. Like I did the 12 hours of Bathurst, and that was a lot of fun. And the 24 hours of Daytona was insanity. So I'm glad that we're get our group a chance to do something like this because it's every corner counts.
Yeah, and what we do with meat space lemons, the Bort hole looks pretty excellent on the Cheaties 888 car there. Keep it classy.
Yeah, I made a new camera pack for tonight. A little bit, some nice tight shots so we can check out the liveries without necessarily having to disrupt the flow of things. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Oh,
yes, Howard Dean on the side of the team.
And I'm hitting the button. You can't hear it right now, but I'm hitting the button.
So good.
That's for you,
like
Lee
that.
Berry. That's for you, Lee Berry, over at Damn It Doug Racing. Thank you, Lee.
My evening is made. That is most
Yes,
excellent.
yes.
You know you're onto something when you get all the inside humor. The in jokes
From the broadcast too. From
Exactly.
previous broadcasts, it's like these are our people. It's amazing. It's
Alex
amazing.
Levinson here in the Far From Winning car with Tom Lamino had a little retribution mid-race on Thursday and punted Tom Lamino off into the grandstand while they were both giggling like little schoolgirls. So they teamed up and are now racing in the same car.
That is an amazing story. Was that our snack bar visitor at Thompson?
I believe Alex Levinson did visit the snack bar outside of the racetrack. That's right.
Oh,
look at
that
that
full
drift.
checkerboards. Yeah, drop packets endurance racing team. I love it.
There's going to be some good drifting out of the kink there.
Oh yeah. There's a camera sitting there too. Let's see what we got here. Getting down to the end of warm up. Oh yeah, excellent. Randy Bish in the house. Who's the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen? I saw that before and always thought it was a joke, but that's a great name for a team.
Yes.
Because there has to be a few legitimate ones, right?
I mean, Randy Bish is apparently one of them.
There doesn't have to be. There probably is, but there doesn't.
Yeah, well, one would hope. Great Globs of Oil. I love it, Darby. That's a great name. Great team name. Looking through the different team names, Gatorade's better. Oh yeah, that's the high quality H2O. Love it. All right. The magic question, will the starting grid work tonight? It got really quiet. I noticed he had to go. You're still here, aren't you, Sean?
I am here.
That's
I don't
great.
know where. I don't know where Eric went.
Maybe the flooded basement knocked out his internet temporarily. Hopefully not, but let's take a look here. Yeah, there's no starting grid tonight, but tonight's starting grid that we don't have is brought to you by our friends at Top Flight Computers. If you use the promo code TFCRB1, you can save 5% off your custom build computer. Top Flight Computers specializes in custom gaming computers, water cooling, workstations, and closed-loop systems. Again, contact them at topflightpc.com and tell them Bearded Sim Racer sent you. Use the code TFCRB1 to save 5% and help support us over here at Bearded Sim Racer. But yeah, since there's not a grid, we'll get that in now. That's it. So, looks like we've got 35 cars getting ready to take to Road America for 2 hours. And it's going to be great. 10-4 on that. Eric is doing a driver's meeting. It would help if I read. Oh, yeah, he can't talk on the Spectator channel. That's unfortunate.
I got it. I'm good.
Did you get it? Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah. Ooh, the Maginot Lime. That is a good theme. Yes, that is Soggy, who has a French car with a Maginot Line themed. So the lime is an excellent play on words there.
Let's see. Let's take a nice look at that.
It's terrifying. It's just terrible.
Ooh, I like it. I like that they got their names in the flag on the side too. That's great. Excellent.
Arden, you going to surrender your flavor? That is going all out on the World War II theme. Very well done, Soggy.
Excellent. Most excellent. So we're on the pace lap here. Let's click through some of our cars here. We're familiar with a lot of these liveries. Yeah, the Dead Sea Bath Salts. Excellent.
That's a
Failed
Florida
Garage?
Man Racing. Yep.
Oh yeah, nice. Ooh, I like the split paint job. That's nice. Orange flavored sanitizer. Orange flavored sanitizer.
Yes. So they had orange flavored drink as a sponsor for a race that the team did.
Oh man.
Chicken Pit, always good. Snap Off, that's classic.
Yes.
Classic lemons there.
Yes. Ooh, Quick Stop. Jay and Silent Bob. Excellent, Greg. Over Black Maven Motorsports. Excellent paint job.
Snoochie Boochie.
We need to talk to Melanie Walker about her livery.
Yeah.
Christopher Cromie. Excellent.
Cash Clark is using his girlfriend or wife's name as Melanie Walker. I don't understand.
Credit card. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
He's using?
probably that,
Oh, okay. Well, I started.
Do we need to talk to them about their flair?
Yes, we most definitely do. Yeah. So funny story. Whenever I started iRacing, I didn't have like a debit card or a credit card. I was like a cash kind of person back in those days. So I had to use my grandma's credit card. So I was Marion Rude for like the first year I was on iRacing before I found out you could just email them and they would change it for you.
That's pretty great.
So I have been in the situation before where people thought, yeah, well, Marion, that's a man's name also, but it's just a lot less common that way. So we get a look at the best looking car. I mean, I shouldn't have said best. Cleanest car out there, that Porsche pace car. No truck tonight?
Yeah, who's driving the pace car tonight? Do we know?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say Judge Phil, but maybe that's why he's not here. He's too busy driving the pace car.
That's right. Just call him Steve. Steve the robot.
That's right.
Judge Phil's in there huffing paint and driving a Porsche, like a real automotive journalist.
I can vouch for that. Actually, I'm sorry I can, but I definitely can.
Who else? TDI Soar has the Big Bill Hell theme also, which is great. Classic YouTube video.
Go to Bill. Go to Hell. Go to Bell.
Yep, go to Bill Hell. That's right.
Oh, excellent.
Looks like Wisconsin Crap Racing is Eric and Kevin Hesser. They're brothers who race in real life.
We got the Knoxville Lowballers at the back of the field. They're looking good with what looks to be a Lincoln grill on their car.
Yes, they raced the missing link, the 78 Lincoln. So they've done a good job of converting that.
That's amazing.
Major points to the low ballers.
Absolutely.
The Link Marrow.
The Link Marrow.
All right. I guess we're getting ready to light this candle, guys.
Well, it doesn't burn
But also-
brightly. I'll say that.
It's very damp, so it's going to take us a minute to get an actual flame, but we're going to try right now and get things started.
Alan, is it Alan Kameyer? Hey, you join this team. Yes, you. It's a green Camaro, number 35.
Right.
Already tried to knock the front of the car off on the pace line.
A question I have, how many quick repairs did these drivers get tonight?
I think that's a great question that I have no answer
I can
for.
only hope, I can really honestly only hope unlimited. That would make
I
my
think it
night.
is unlimited.
That's fantastic.
Like,
Here's,
I don't know.
our aerial shot of turn 1, brought to you by something funny that Eric's going to say right now.
Brought to you by the water in my basement at the moment, which is a real thing. I am broadcasting with 8 inches of water.
Can a brother
in
get
my
a sump pump in this bitch?
I know, right? I know. Sorry,
You're done
we'll
with it in your
distract you with that.
basement.
Cameron, me too. I want to race the truck. Sorry, I had to let all the cars get through one time. All right.
I like it.
Carnage. Carnage back in turn 3 as we are rapidly approaching turn 5, presented by your uncle in Stevens Point for the first time.
Look at all those spectators down there with beers.
They're partying. They're just having a good
Look at all
time.
those are some fantastic attempts at that corner.
It's
A
a
lot
tricky
of
corner,
line
downhill. Not too much camber there. Ooh, yeah, that's a great shot. Whoever made these cameras is a genius.
He
What
knows
year
what
would
he's
be
doing.
there other than
does.
lining?
Must be in the Midwest. No, Chuck. Eric is not in the Midwest, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, I'm in Chicago.
You are?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, my mistake. My mistake.
Yeah. My entire neighborhood is underwater at this
Oh
point.
no,
So,
that's terrible. That is just awful. I'm sorry to hear that.
you
Lord,
know.
you just want Mayor B, Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
All
It's
right.
like there was some carnage headed down the carousel as well.
Excellent.
You know, Lemons raced at Road America a couple times, and we decided the kink was not a great idea for Lemons' car.
Did you
so
do
we
the
ran
chicane? Yeah.
We ran the motorcycle chicane.
Okay. Good call. Yeah. The
Something about
Catherine.
self-preservation
Is it the Catherine Legg chicane?
God.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most intense.
Hey,
accidents.
hey, you know what?
I-
She only needs 3 wheels to go fast. Shout out to the Delta Wing days. Oh,
Two
God.
wheels up front.
Oh, God. Oh, the drifting going on back here. Okay, number 78. We're going to go back. And, oh, I heard a thump. That's always good. The Knox Vegas lowballers are having a rough time getting through. Oh, this is going to be bad. Look out. They're all coming through drifting. All right,
What
let's,
was that? What, like,
we're
it's
going.
all
We're going
about-
back. Okay, this is a replay now. We're going back 30 seconds to see what happened.
Well, like somebody oiled it down. Everybody got crazy.
There is great globs of oil out here. Yuri Schneerman.
Schneerman.
Oh,
Wow,
that was
that
a-
Jetta. Look at that
great plug.
amazing drift into the wall. Oh, dude.
Straight
That Miata, you know, he had a Code Brown coming around that corner. And the Solstice with the Code Brown. And the Jetta,
Everybody-
there is oil on the track. What's going on?
So remember that time when 24 seconds ago I was talking about why Lemons would never use the kink? I think that was it right there. It was everybody
You said
sliding
remember
sideways
24
through it.
seconds ago? That's perfect.
Yes.
That one time? That one time, 20 seconds ago?
Yep. That's it. That was it right there.
I think we'll just let's just
Something about a fleet.
put it on focus on crashes. This should be great. Here we go.
Yep.
Ah,
You know, in the driver's meeting right before this, I made sure to mention that this is a long race and to not drive like a douche. That kind
I
of
hope that's
tossed
a
out the
direct
window pretty
quote.
quickly.
Nah, yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. We're all holding pieces of plastic, turning them left and right, connected through a wire. Some of them wirelessly, I'm sure. They're all over parts of the globe. There's bound to be some confusion.
I think so.
What kind of wheel do you have? Plastic.
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with the Logitech product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tried and true.
All
My
right, wait a minute.
G27 has a metal steering has a metal steering wheel, but there's lots of pieces of plastic involved.
I think we
This
need
is
to
part of the
get a look
program
at
where
The
this is the
26
part of the
car.
program where I apologize for Nemesis Lab making really nice things.
That's right.
I apologize
Yes.
for Nemesis Lab.
Yes.
Is that heavy metal, the
Yes.
Uzi from like 1982 or whatever?
Yes. We got to get a look at this. This is great. Let's get a good look at this
A
here.
one-way.
Oh, man. Oh, I see inappropriate things on the rear deck lid. There's some on the front fender, too. All right. Hey, that's great. At least it's done in good taste.
Louder and nastier than ever.
Do you remember the South Park
South
Park episode where they were huffing the cat pee and it was like a heavy metal reference?
Yeah.
No.
They're out tonight, feeling just right.
That's that's absolutely right. All right, what car were you gonna say? Because that's the one I saw. I was like, oh, we got to look at that thing.
That one's good. The Team Bear Pope.
Oh yeah,
I got the scoop on the name, which is God, what it was like. Oh, I'm gonna have to go find this now.
It was something about bears and
so someone's blocked him on Twitter. Is that what's going on the front of that car?
I assume so. It was does a bear shit in the woods, and then is the Pope Catholic? Like the two, like, oh well, obvious answers. So Bear Pope became a thing on his bicycle endurance racing team. So
yes,
Team Bear Pope is it.
That's what Bear Pope is. That's great.
Yes.
I also love the old school McDonald's water cup look to the card. The colors aren't right, but the graphics are.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. The Jazz Cup.
Yes, the Jazz Cup.
Yeah, that's very mini truck. That's very slammed mini truck.
Yes.
Graphics.
Yes.
Valid. Yeah, we have a mini truck that races in Lemons with period correct graphics. It's an S10 lowered with subs in the bed and a 283 in it that just blew up after 9 years of racing.
Only 9?
It's getting an LS, I think, at the moment. But
nice.
But yeah, it's a legit mini truck that booms, which is the greatest thing you could have in a race car, obviously.
I just noticed
a snug top on it.
I just noticed Christopher Cromie's leading, but yeah, go ahead.
Does it have a what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
A snug top.
Snug top. Oh no, I think it did for a little while, but no snug top at the moment. The team's also from Oakland, so they're legit. So.
Ooh, new follower on Mixer, Tyler Shoe 1413. We love you. See, I just talk about Mixer, and here we go. It's just taking off.
Right.
It's great. Go through the field here. Schlavine in his usual priority fail racing livery.
That's right.
Excellent. I do love the name on the checkered out Cheap Trick Miata, the dropped packets endurance racing team. That's perfect.
Yep.
Hopefully not too many connected to each other throughout the course of the night.
That's Matt Larson, former race winner in Meat Space Lemons with an Acura Integra. I believe I told the story a couple weeks ago, but
you can tell it
had
again.
2 race cars themed up like Star Wars. Had a TIE Fighter on Toyota MR2.
Yes.
And, was driving home from the race and I don't know, pulled over to use the rest stop and noticed smoke pouring out of the back of his trailer and
yes,
the MR2 had
in the
caught
trailer.
Fire in the trailer. Yeah. It still races the Integra, which survived but is charred on the back. So
we need to be looking out for root vegetable liveries. Kyle P on YouTube wants to know.
That is accurate. Yeah, well, we should flip through.
Yeah, let's go through them all now.
Do the through the field like
priority fail 2 electric boogaloo.
With a real phone number on the
what
on the hood.
Call Eagle Insurance. Call now.
Oh yeah. All right. So that's a great Chicago reference. If you've ever seen the Eagle Man insurance commercials, man, it is a male eagle that shows up at an accident scene and lays an egg full of great insurance rates.
Wow.
As you do, if you're
as
an
you
eagle.
do. Yeah, I mean, a male eagle laying eggs with insurance rates in it. Is there anything weird about that? I don't think so.
UPPR. See Led Zeppelin?
If that wasn't on the hood of that car, I'd love them just for electric boogaloo. That's just
so good.
Yeah, man.
I love a good local reference joke. Also, we got
especially
the
when it's
Donnie
local
car.
to you too. Yeah, that's 2.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's see any North Carolina jokes out there.
And planning the worm of ain't nobody
right.
Love me a bit. Yeah. I won't sing anymore.
Oh, keep it coming.
You're in a key. There was a key happening.
Uh-oh. Where'd he go?
It's a
Stopped.
key.
Yep.
He's having a rough time. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that is a fantastic livery.
Hi, Mom.
Best.
Oh, God. Hang on.
That is Santiago Iglesias. I believe he is a rally co-driver in his spare time. That's what he does for fun on the weekends.
Like 300.
A stage
right
rally.
30.
Yep.
300.
Yep.
Left Titans. Hairpin. Don't cut.
This is where we changed the tire because he ran over a rock. That kind of thing.
I'm going to go on record as saying that roll cage in the Starry car is the coolest damn thing I've ever seen in iRacing.
Yeah, that is cool. That's like it's almost like a Bob Marley colory kind of thing going on there with the roll cage.
I know we did it because of the Starry pieces, but holy crap,
Do you know how much work had to go into that? I mean, how much time was spent copying and pasting things in Photoshop? It's fantastic.
That's right.
And I like
It
the
looks like
windshield
the-
banner too, because it's like a whole bunch of stars across the top. It's excellent.
Can we get a look at the
cage
12
brought
there
to you by-
also?
Yeah, of course we
This
can.
roll cage is brought to you by Google. It
We
looks
gotta
like
figure out where the 12 is on my score.
It's right in front of
Well, yeah.
Santiago.
For some reason, it wasn't on the timing screen. So yeah,
John
here we go.
Samuel spent a lot of time on the racing team name there.
Yep.
ASDF Racing.
Shout out for all the effort. Excellent. Whoa.
Is that a Don Hertzfeld
This always
thing?
happens to me. Whenever I pick a car that's blinky. Here we go. Oh, it actually is ASDF Racing, so maybe he did. Oh, this is some.
I love the trunk. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Someone had some fun in I'm gonna say probably GIMP because that's the free version of Photoshop. Oh, come on
Yep.
back. There you are.
It's a
Oh, the
little
sheep.
blinky.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the idea. Blinking down the straightaway is always good.
Evidently, is a Vern Funk Insurance in the Seattle area that has similar ads, I guess, according to Cameron Aubernon.
Nice.
When Cameron Aubernon showed up in the YouTube chat, I looked over and out of the corner of my eye, I was like, "Holy shit, Bill Auberlin is in here."
Same
What the-
thing.
I gotta
Same
tell
thing.
you, we're up to 11. We're up to 11 viewers on Twitch. This is like unheard of. 13 now. Holy,
unprecedented.
This is incredible.
It's unprecedented.
Yes.
It's,
We love all 13 of you.
Tonight is a night of records.
We do.
It's a night of records.
It is. ACR Speed, A10, Commander Root, Cookie Cruncher, Electric Longboard, Graffordia, JT3455, Ripster 777, Ronster H57, Sandmouse 88, Staffu, Telluride 4x4, that's right, the Ringworm and the Speedster. You guys are awesome. All
I hope that-
13 of you.
Is
Lucky
that
13.
Kia Telluride? I hope that's Kia Telluride.
It just says 4x4 Telluride. Yeah, I'm going to say probably is, but we'll find out in a minute, hopefully.
Could be the
Ripster
place
777 says I love you too. I just feel warm inside now. Thank you, Ripster.
Aw. That was amazing.
Yes. Oh,
right, I
thank you,
think we
thank you,
just-
Speedster. Thank you.
It's a good livery on
The
John
broadcast is
Pickering's
going to do
car.
nothing but be a letdown from here on out. Let's shut it down.
So
Shut it
ACR
down.
Speed says ASDF Racing is probably based on ASDF Movie, a short film series on YouTube. We'll have to check that out. Thank you.
Huh.
We assumed it was a lack of effort, but we were wrong.
Clearly,
There was more effort there. There was like 2 efforts
That's
instead
I guess
of nones.
yeah.
Whoa! What just happened?
He's
What?
still blinking down the
Oh
street.
yeah, he's
John
just blinking. He's
Santos.
just blinking a lot. That's all.
Go to UPPR. That Camaro front end just got taken off.
All right, let's go back.
I don't really know what happened, but that was insane.
Well, if you watch the mixer feed, you're about to find out. I went back 30 seconds. Here we go. And now this replay brought to you by, oh God, I hope it doesn't hurt.
There is no way that didn't hurt. That digitally hurt. It hurt me.
Oh no!
There it is.
Oh, punted. Sorry for getting up on the mic there, everybody listening at home, and there was a little excitement. But yeah, wow.
And it was unfortunately the number 3 car.
Dale, yeah.
This ka-chow moment brought to you by Lightning McQueen. Holy crap. That was big.
Let's take one more look at that and see if we can figure out who the other person involved was. Maybe see their perspective.
Number 3 Melanie
Oh,
Walker.
you did mention that.
Cash Clark.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Not great.
oh. I was gonna. See this. See what happens here. See what Melanie did wrong. Is she looked or he looked at the car that was off track. See if you take a look here. We know he's going off track. So you're supposed to.
You can't trust Florida man.
You're not supposed to look because this is what happens. That's exactly what happens when the car in front of you goes off. You don't look because you're gonna miss your mark. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. This is what happens, Donnie, when you miss your mark and go off the track.
You get abused by a Camaro. Just abused.
If it would have been a red Corvette, that would have made the joke even better. But
there's a Mustang right behind that Camaro going. See, I didn't hit him. I hit nothing.
The Mustang's more interested in the people that are in the bleachers, and you see the amazing amount of people along the green, the meadow back there. There's a lot of people back there.
Are they in the meadow?
They are in the meadow. That's right.
With the Queen. The Gettys.
Let's get it back on normal speed for everybody at home. Here we go. Excellent. So
Colonel
the
Sanders
new
would have
leader,
been over
just like we heard earlier today in the NASCAR race, new leader 48. Hopefully, Schlavine will have a better fate than Jimmy Johnson did when he was leading today. It felt weird watching real racing. Is it okay to say that?
This isn't real racing?
No, I'm talking about today when NASCAR was on TV.
But this isn't real racing?
No, I meant like meat space racing. Meat space.
No, it's more fun if I just keep going with that.
Oh no, I know. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyway, this is your show. I'll just be quiet.
No, it's not. It's totally. It's our show. Was it any good? I didn't watch it. I heard that it was.
It was cool. It was really cool because they didn't practice at all, so they literally just unloaded the cars and rolled them through tech, and then start your engines. That's it. No practice, no qualifying. They did the old school pill draw like they used to do for the Busch Clash on where you start, and that's how they pick pit stalls. And everybody had their masks on. The interviews were using boom like 8-foot long booms to hold the microphones out to people, and NASCAR worked really hard to make that happen. So, and I feel bad that I can't remember. I think it's Roy Cooper is the North Carolina governor that let the race teams go back to the race shops to get the cars ready back a few weeks ago. Whenever we, what is that, non-essential type situation. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that enjoyed watching that race today. Hopefully they got to forget about the crappy situation that we're all in for a few hours like we're trying to do here tonight.
I would imagine they did.
Yeah.
I think I have recorded. I'm not sure.
Well, no spoilers because I'm sure there's some people out there that want to watch it still. So I'll shut up about that. But a lot of good-looking liveries out here tonight. Jim's meat chips. Oh yeah, the salty meat for the win. Yes, James, salty meat is for the win.
There's not a whole lot of effort that's gone into that livery, but it just has Jim's meat chips on it, so it makes it wonderful.
That's all you really need. I like how he's slowing down for the kink. How responsible. That was incredible.
No, the kink is a no-lift scenario.
Well, oh, yeah, there you go. Here comes a Mustang. Everyone brace yourselves at home.
Body in white.
That's the rally fart. Andrew Bernard putting a lot of effort into that paint job. Thank you.
Is there a paint job on that?
No, it's white. That's why I was kind of being sarcastic. Sorry, it was a bad joke.
I was just thinking that my textures didn't load.
Oh, no. Well, I still have the old trading paints on just in case, but good times as they head down through Kettle Bottoms into Canada Corner. Hey, I remembered that. That's amazing.
Hey, I almost died in Canada Corner once. It's awesome.
Really?
Last break going into Canada Corner.
Oh my God! So, what kind of car are you driving? Racing?
It was at a program for it was an OE program that I'm not going to name because I don't really want to go.
Yeah, no. Yes. So just testing of some sort.
No, it was. I actually had a guest in the car, and I had a friend of mine who was at another program there, and the same thing happened. Different car, but same thing.
Same corner. Wow.
Canada Corner. Like literally went into Canada Corner with no brakes, and luckily went to test the brakes about 4 times the braking zone that you would normally use. Like hit them, and there was nothing there. Had enough to. I pumped them 5 or 6 times. got a little bit left, got a little weight on the front end, twitched the wheel, put the car sideways, and drifted Canada corner at max speed. And the dude in the passenger seat thought it was all part of the ride, and it was not. It was just not.
Dana Hilliker, this is just this right now is for you. We're going to watch Amanda Tully for a while, so you can enjoy watching the person that you're at home rooting for tonight. Eric is putting the kid to bed. He'll be back in 5, so I'll have to remind you. I'm just reading the broadcast. Apparently, there was an unsafe entry into the person involved. That's never good. But yeah, this is for you, Dana, so you can watch this and enjoy it.
All right, I've got someone here, Eli the Wolf. Did you just mention the V8 Ranger or 3800 V6 turbocharger allowed in Lemons?
I did not. No, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, maybe like he's asking if a V8 Ranger or 3800 V6 with a turbo would be allowed in Lemons. No matter what, it would probably be allowed. You just probably would
just
start.
Got to pass tech. You just got to pass tech, right? Down. Yeah. A lot of penalties for something so nice.
And do you really want to put that on the track? Just trying to be nice. Do you really want to go there? 3800 V8, 3800 V6 turbocharged Ranger. Why wouldn't it be? Bring it.
Yeah. I think you just have to pass tech, and the rest of it's up to judgment, of course. But
take the Ranger logos off of it, the Ranger emblems, and put Courier emblems on it.
Yes.
And throw a bunch of dirt and oil all over it, and they'll still know that you're trying to cheat. But I mean, that's almost expected. Then bring copious amounts of cheap liquor to bribe the judges with, and see what you get.
That's an assumption you should always take something with you to bribe the judges when you're going to a Lemons event or competing in a Lemons event, I should say. I think the people that come to spectate would probably bring stuff to bribe the judges too, right? I mean, that would be fun.
Nah, we don't get that.
Oh, you don't get nobody brought cookies for Judge Phil?
We don't get it from spectators. We get it from racers.
Yeah. Well, I meant like the people that come along. Yeah.
The turbocharged Ranger. That's a fantastic idea. Please do that.
Yeah, why would you not?
Anytime anybody does some kind of homemade turbocharger setup,
always goes well, right?
The results are predictable, and it's not suddenly winning. So
Tom Webb wants to know, or wants you to know that he's all stocked up on moonshine.
Excellent. Tom Webb, Lemons racer out of Texas with a Pinto wagon. Not only is it a Pinto wagon, it is a Pinto wagon that he found in the junkyard that is the same one he owned in high school.
No way. VIN verified, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, it's the story. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but the story goes that there was this particularly attractive female exchange student from Denmark that may have taken his initial foray into adulthood, so to speak, in the back of the Pinto.
We got you. We're there.
Yeah. So they had sex in the back of it.
Nice. So I'm trying to find out for someone in chat if Steph Schrader is racing in this race.
I don't believe Steph is racing.
Okay, I was clicking through looking. Tom Lamino, nice.
Tom Lamino's.
Well, I really wish that she was racing in this event.
Right.
Well done. Did that redeem me from last week?
Yes. Also, Donnie Petronek.
Petronek, yeah.
Petronek, that's right. I saw that name. Here it is. Where'd it go? Oh, maybe I'm confused. Yes, Donnie's in the 20 with Justin Estes for Fail Incorporated Motorsports. So right now his co-driver is driving, but this is Donnie's car that you'll see him in at some point during the race. The number 20, the orange-flavored sanitizer, bath salts, special bath salts, in the Dale number 3 on the back. Nice.
What is that?
Like very lost. Bath salts.
I'm trying to figure out the reasoning behind that. It can't possibly be that he's trying to keep heat in the tire. He's not really going all that fast either, is he?
No, I'm going to guess there's a video game controller of some sort involved.
That's wide open for the solstice, isn't it?
And so this could be a situation where one person on the team's using a wheel and the other isn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Thank you,
I just
iRacing. I never thought something
really-
like that could be possible. Thank you, iRacing.
It's a good split.
And
Lemons is
now,
learning you about all kinds of possibilities in iRacing.
and now it's time for our every 10-minute thank you to our Twitch viewers. Thank you to our Twitch viewers.
Still 13?
Yes, maintaining 13. It's excellent.
crap.
Most excellent.
Not only are there 13, we've got them locked.
Yep.
They're locked and
Yep.
they're hooked.
Yep.
Should point out this car, not a Tony Stewart
No.
tribute there.
No.
The left side looks like Fail Inc.'s Lexus, painted yellow over black, and the right side looks like his teammate Florida Man Racing's Mustang, which is orange drink sponsored, but now the orange flavored sanitizer is a good tie-in. So two teams, one car, very neatly done. If you can get another shot of the overhead, you'll notice the bumper is not lined up with the hood of where the color split
Oh, I do
is.
see that. Yeah. That's the point where you're just like, yep, that's going to work.
It's close enough.
Yep. Excellent. Not like the exaggerated 20 on the hood, too. Nice choice.
You know, what that could be is a very accurate representation of GM assembly with panel gaps that are about 3 inches misaligned.
So this is what you would call a tribute livery, then. It wants to
That's right.
accentuate the finer qualities of the Pontiac Solstice.
That's
As
right.
it- oh, God. Hang on. Through the carousel. Good times.
He's just heading to the beach like Florida Man.
Yeah.
And my best Thunberg. How dare you?
A456987 says, forget about the bath salts. You want to go to Blaine County and get some toilet cleaner? Smoke a
That's a
real
regional
bowl.
joke I don't get, but I'm all
Smoke a
about
real
it.
bowl. I don't know. Sorry.
He wants you to get that zombie level high on. That's what he's
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah, that's the bath salts reference, which is great.
Oh, we
A
have
2005 Toyota Matrix. Yeah, bring the Matrix, man.
so
Actually,
we had
better
a
yet.
19-second pit stop here. I don't know. Is there a like when I did the endurance racing, there was a driver swap timer that went to. Is that part of what's going on here today, or is there a penalty? Do you know if there is any sort of
You're asking
additional
the wrong guy.
time? Well, I didn't.
Totally
I
asking the wrong
assumed,
guy.
I assumed that you set up the session. I apologize.
I did not. I let Pat Mulry of Harp Racing.
Oh, here we go.
set-
Here we go. We've got fourth place car, no damage, came in, has been in pit lane for almost a minute. So yes, there is. I think it looks like Team Bear Pope. I'm trying to remember who was driving it before. Let's take a look here. Thank you to iRacing Scoring.
They seem to be coming in really early. Are we burning fuel at more than 1x? Is that what's going on here?
We set him up with X% of a fuel tank to basically be in the neighborhood of 25 to 35 minutes, depending on how you drive it.
So no,
which is
Matt-
accurate. That's kind of
Matt must have had some sort of issue because he's been out there the whole time. So sad face. No driver change there.
Well, the X percentage of fuel tank is working. That's cool. I was wondering
Yes.
why there were so many people on pit road. I was like, what the hell's going on? It's early.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's like the old 2K3 NASCAR 2K3, the 4X tire wear and fuel usage. Made for some good times. You could run a 10-lap race and have to make a pit stop.
I like
It's
it.
like Project Cars. You boot the time pass
Yeah.
like 50 or 60 times, and you can run a 30-minute race day.
Whoa.
It's-
Oh yeah. We have that on iRacing too. I was in a league race at Talladega that was a total shit show, and about the 20th or 22nd caution, it was starting to get dark, and we got to the green white checkers, which there were unlimited green white checkers, and it got dark on us. So we were driving around at Talladega, which, as you know, has no lights, and in the dark. I have a screenshot somewhere. It's great.
Oh, but that was fun. Mustache milk dude. I can't.
I hope everyone at home is enjoying the crunchy groove from last week. I brought it back this week.
Excellent. Elanzar pointing out the Miku dude, which is Hatsune Miku on the tarp car.
there we go.
67 and 136, maybe. Not totally sure which ones are which, but yeah.
Huh?
There's the kink line right there.
There we go.
That's when we need the
67.
straight stock dirt Camaro is what we need for this track.
And here's the 136, the Mustang that also has the...
Yep, there it is. Oh, it does have a mustache.
Oh, it does. Excellent. New leader, the 136, Nathaniel Adler.
There you go.
Couldn't tell you how long ago. Oh, look at that! Look at that shiny, blinky. Yeah, missing line. I like it on the back of the Lincoln.
You gotta love the Lincoln grill.
Yep. So that car, the real world missing link is a '78 Lincoln Continental that somebody chopped 3 feet out of the middle of it and made it a 2-door. It's on a Roadkill episode where they did the Lemons Rally. Totally worth looking
nice. There we go. I found it again.
I was actually going to ask how that car made it in underweight, because that car, what is that car, about 7,200 pounds, something like that?
Is there a maximum weight?
Did we lose Eric?
He muted again. Just a second.
Eric Rude, please report to the
He'll be back. Yeah, but yeah.
Eric Rude, please report to the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
Where was it? The Alpha Tasteless in chat is mentioning something about a 350 Chevy boat engine in a 98 Forester. And now all I want to know is leave it reverse rotation. A lot of the marine engines are.
They ran clockwise then, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have reverse rotation and then get back to me and let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, that's intense. So crankshaft, everything, right? Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
We just did on the podcast last week actually talking about the Corvette. There were 2 Corvettes built with rotary motors in them.
Nice. Winkle. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 rotors were reverse rotation compared to the Chevy driveline. So they have one at the Corvette Museum right now that has a gear reduction or a gear reverse box in it that evidently is louder than a Jessel belt drive. If you've ever heard one of those, you know how loud that is. It's like louder than the loudest supercharger ever. And yeah, well, magnified by 432 times. Yeah. It's the whole Wankel thing, man. Like everything's Wankel all of a sudden. And I think Mazda's talking about trying to bring it back again, and I'm like, that's inefficient, man. Yeah, they're literally wanting to use all the RPM, all of it. Every the RPM. Well, I mean, you're fine as long as you're spending at 14,000. You're okay. It'll spend 14 grand for at least 20, 30 minutes, something like that. You really need it to run any longer than that. Yep, Cameron, it's the red car that I'm talking about. Pretty crazy stuff, dude. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yep. Ins and outs. Dealing with the stuff. Anyway, hey, look at that. Somebody says Subaru Boxer 4. Yeah, we've had plenty of those in Lemons. They are awful in Lemons.
Here, have some ringlands.
Yep. Gasket. Oh, there's good off right there.
That was a nice catch, though. Kept it out of the wall. And we're back to our grass particles. Our chunks of grass.
Shout out to Cash Clark / Melanie Walker with the twice as many incident points as anybody else. At 51.
He's gone again. Oh, wait. That was...
Road America has a surprising number of places that will do that to you. That's right. Cameron saying
Steph Schrader jumped in just in time to say ban Miatas. Just calling for an outright ban on Miatas. If you banned Miatas from real world racing, there'd literally be no one at the track. It'd be like, where'd all the cars go?
We'd end up with more
E30s.
Yeah, BMW ban would be more effective for us and would reduce the numbers a lot more significantly. Tom Pyrek in the 888 car now. That's a 3 Lemons captain team in there with Amanda Tully, Tom Pyrek, and Dave Carpenter, who raced 3 very different cars in real life: a BMW 3 Series, a Toyota Cressida, and a Honda Odyssey minivan. So
that is most excellent. Yeah, that's quite the upgrade for them, isn't it?
I really want to bring a minivan. Really, really, really want to bring a minivan.
They're surprisingly good Lemons cars.
15 on Twitch. You guys are awesome on Twitch. Sean, can you tell our fantastic viewers on Twitch about your podcast?
Podcast is called No Driving Gloves. You can find us wherever fine podcasts are listened to, and we'd love to have more folks tuning in and listening. We've had, Tom Cotter of Cobra in a Barn. We had Jim Simpson. If you don't know who Jim Simpson is, look up Jim Simpson Designs. Dude's done more amazing things with Miatas over the years than you can possibly imagine. Had Bill Riley on, had Ben Keating on, had Randy Popst. Let's see who else. Oh my God, there's just been so many amazing people lately, and we have a couple guests coming up that are really, really cool. We've got Matt Farah coming up. We've got these guys from the Silly series. A couple of the lead perpetrators from the stupid series called the 24 Hours of Lemons are coming on the podcast. I know.
God, I hate those guys.
I know, it just doesn't even make sense.
They're so obnoxious.
Yeah, it's No Driving Gloves. You can find us on Face page and the Twitters and the Instagrams and Google and Apple podcasts, and we're all over the damn place.
That is a lot of places.
It's more of this.
How do you keep track of how many places? That's a lot of. Do you use like one place to send it and then they send it to everybody, or do you have to
we use Libsyn.
Oh, okay, weird.
We use Libsyn, and Libsyn just pushes it everywhere.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So realizing that we have. Oh, yeah, hello. Oh, thank God.
It's Phil.
Thank God.
How are you?
Oops, I gotta fix that.
I'm going to talk about some heinous apparatus right now. No, just kidding. Keep going what you're talking about.
If you want to talk about anus apparatus, there's what was that one
heinous
card?
and venous.
There's no anus.
Not anus. Yeah, there's anus in tetanus, but not in what I just said.
And right there also. There's one right there.
Did I just say that? I take it back. You know what? Go ahead, everyone press rewind and erase the word anus from your memory. Okay, it's done.
Can you?
Right,
so is it like you're erasing Uranus? Is that like how they erase Pluto as a planet?
They actually, I got to say it. So there's a middle school across the street from my house, which actually could be grounds for a good joke, but I can't think of one right now. And they've got all the pre-deletion of Pluto planets lined up along the sidewalk. And actually, we have back in the day when people went out and did stuff, drunks would go to the bars nearby and then go jump on the planets and fall off and get head injuries, and we called them the planet bangers. Pluto is still there. In fact, Pluto is the closest planet to my house across the street. And when iStar Racing came out to race one of the early Colorado races, they had the Miata set up to look like the Starship Enterprise. They parked it next to the planets. They're actually next to Saturn and Jupiter, but they could have been near Uranus. Anyway, there's been talk about removing Pluto from the planets on my block, but the uproar from the kids was so great that they saved Pluto. So even though Pluto's a dwarf planet like Eris, it's still going to stay just because, it's in our hearts.
That's crazy. Like my parents, the last house that they had was in a neighborhood called Twilight Terrace, and I lived on Mars Drive.
Really? When I was living in Orange County in Southern California, I had a girlfriend who lived in a neighborhood where all of the streets were named after characters from Sesame Street. He had like Cookie Monster Lane. You know,
that camera's not going to work. Let's fix that.
Yeah.
There we go.
By the way,
That's what we're going for.
I'm actually not running iRacing right now. Is there a video feed I should be seeing?
Yeah. Mixer.com/bearded simracer. And I will post the link. Actually, you know what? I will send you the link as a Discord message because you're just awesome, Phil, and you deserve to all you have
so I'm not going to see it within Discord the way I used to. I understand.
If that's easier for you, I can fire that up too.
No, you know what? I'm just going to boot up iRacing because I'm a gangster that way.
No. This is even easier. Okay, 10-4.
Look, I've just done a drive-by shooting on 3 fools and needed it, and that's what I went here. So it's okay.
Okay, 10-4. Well, if you want to see what everybody at home sees, there's a link to it, and I would recommend using it.
I want to see that, but does it require that I install some kind of janky-ass software from Eastern Europe?
No, it's just like YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. It's just Microsoft's platform.
Except full of malware from Belarus.
There's a request to put car 24 on the screen.
10-4.
And the cat's back.
Sirs.
I'm sure the cat's been up before now, but the cat's back. I love
that's the first time the cat's been up tonight. Okay, here we go.
Hey, there we go.
You know, I'm going to fire up iRacing anyway, just because, I've paid for it, so.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There is actually a Lemons Discord server, Eli. There is a Lemons Discord server.
Yes, and I will post a link to it in the chat.
Well, we don't need to make the listeners hear all of this,
No.
All they need to know is that, man, those heinous venous cylinders are starting to throb, though. I gotta say,
So do I have permission to post the Discord link in the YouTube chat? Because that could get out of control.
No, that would be a very bad idea. Yeah.
Okay.
I can think of 5 or 6 Lemons racers who are on all of these who would abuse that privilege. And
10-4.
I would find very
Only 5
entertaining.
or 6. Okay.
But this is a family-friendly event, or at least.
It was until you were talking about Venus and Hannah.
Hey, did I say anything that was worse than PG rated? I believe I did not.
No.
Okay,
We did talk about Tom Webb's Pinto and his Danish foreign exchange student, though.
Well, the interesting thing with him is that he is now dating a Lemons racer who has a Vega, so there's the Pinto Vega couple.
That's right.
And they have a certain amount of conflict over that, but it's kind of brought them together too. I mean, it's in the same way that maybe East Berlin and West Berlin found a way to bridge the divide. Although, actually, I'm sure East Berlin and West Berlin both of them were broken down all the time and rusted really fast.
Valid.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the first Rutabaga?
Rutabaga. I have been pushing the giant vegetable Lemons racers
We've noticed.
for quite a while. Well, you have to be repetitive with these people because there's a certain civness to some of their brains. But once they get it in their head that, oh yeah, I don't know why, but I really want to do a giant potato or turnip, out of my car. And next thing you know, they're locked in the garage making that giant armature for the huge turnip. Turnip would be a good one, by the way, because they have pointy at one end, so it's a little bit aerodynamic. I mean, it's probably a CD of about 0.9, but that's better than a square, I would think. So really, if you want the vegetable edge, I actually would say maybe a carrot would be best, just because they're kind of cylindrical and heinous and venous. All right, so I have not received any kind of thing that tells me how to get on this feed. So again, I'm going to go back to the
if you look at
incredibly
your
perfect iRacing. No, the iRacing interface. It's like if you described how a UI should work to someone from another planet.
Here,
and then
allow me. Here you go. Now you can see my screen. There you go.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Because I'm
yeah,
already
wow.
getting into
Now they're literally on all 5 of my screens right now, or on all 4 of my screens right now, is some sort of a thumbnail of the broadcast.
What do
This is
we got
intense.
here?
There you go.
All right, watch stream. All right, a hot yellow stream. Yes, here we go. A stream of backburn.
Around.
Awesome.
Someone asked earlier if a Subaru swapped Ford Ranger would finish a 24-hour race.
Boy, I mean,
The
by
answer-
finished, do you mean maybe they got it fixed 5 laps before the end and got it out, or you mean ran the whole time? Because there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about, I just want to finish. It's like, well, yeah, you could be running at the checkered, but a lot of teams, they blow up the 4th lap in and then they get it fixed and they come out for the last half hour. I think when you say you want to finish, that means you want to run most of the time. I believe that's what they mean, right? Anybody?
Yeah, I think that's usually what people mean by that. But
I would say I would take a Subaru engine over an Audi engine. Maybe I would take a Subaru engine
at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would say with a Ranger to really make it interesting. I'd say flathead Chrysler 6, and coincidentally enough, this has nothing to do with anything I might happen to know, but Grumpy Cat Racing in Denver has a free 230 cubic inch, good running Chrysler Flathead 6 they'll give to 11's team. Put that in a Ranger, man, every trophy would just be magnetically drawn to your paddock space. I can't see any other way around it. By the way, I heard back from Shaggy 2 Dope. He is now running Lemons. He's agreed that he's going to be in charge now. So we're going to be running nothing but Nelson Ledges, and the drug bridge is where all the award ceremonies and drivers meetings happen.
Well, my house is currently doing an impression of the Nelson Ledges race.
Oh, is it?
Race. Yeah, there's a foot of water in my basement.
Do you have scabies?
Not yet, but it's coming.
Scabies are coming around the corner. If you're going to really imitate Nelson Ledges, it's like scabies and then like really scary kind of homeless Amish zombies coming out of the forest.
Amish zombies out of the forest.
There were some really kind of menacing individuals emerging from the misty woods. I mean, they were literally, I don't think it was like a water-based mist. I think it was more of a petrochemical sort of Superfund kind of a mist. But we need to finish the recap video about Nelson Ledges. We just got kind of sidetracked by the fact that there were so many stories.
There are so many stories.
So
who was there has four parts of the story.
Well, when Johnny Lieberman and I were in Japan a year ago, man, back when we could travel, we recorded our reminiscences after about 11 or 12 Asahis and a sushi bar in Shinjuku. And so we've got some good footage there.
Look at that
lockup.
Look at that lockup on the left front. That was beautiful. Did you guys see that?
Man, I'm looking at Jim's meat chips right now.
Yeah, well, hold on. Here, wait till we go back to this particular shot.
I need to get into the YouTube
right here in this left-hander. Watch that left front. Look at that. Look at that lockup.
Look at that.
You know,
it's beautiful.
Jim races a Corvette in real life, and that's the kind of racing skill you need to race a 1984 Corvette right there. Yep, so, locking the tire for a solid 200 yards.
Can you on iRacing have accurate Camaro terrible brake control? I mean, can you make it so just one brake locks up because you've boiled your Budweiser brake fluid?
Well, you can set it up like your uncle from Stevens Point, who had one.
Really?
And, know, like he always had that.
What is Stevens Point? Is that like a Michigan thing?
Ask Catherine what Stevens Point
is. Is that like a Wisconsin thing?
It is.
Must be
totally.
Okay.
Yep.
So I thought after 45 minutes I'd change up the songs a little bit, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally recommend do. Oh, that's just going to that's where. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's going back in the uncle's yard. That's where that.
So I just went on the YouTube audio library and it asked me what my mood was, and I said funky, and this is what we're listening to. So it's good times. Hope you guys at home are enjoying the random songs that we have no idea what they're going to be. So enjoy. But the good news is we won't get any copyright strikes. So congratulations.
Well, if you're going to play funky music, I think it's time for the meters because that's New Orleans fun.
Well, then we get copyright.
Then we get the copyright. Yeah.
So we need fun bands that you and your neighbors did just now.
That's right.
By the way,
the first monetization of the night comes from Judge Phil. I didn't do it.
No. Well, actually, is this monetized?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. We're busted now. Sorry.
Yeah, shout out to Danny Keene and Doug Maxwell of the Philly crew. This is a nice funky track. Thank you.
I have a question about Nelson Ledges. I've only been there twice, but I've been there twice. Does that mean I need to get tested?
No, I've been there once, and
totally.
There's no point in testing me. I mean, it's permanent.
Yeah,
I'm just checking.
Oh man, you get all kinds of squirming things up your pee hole. You don't want to talk about it anymore. So let's just say, I was rooming with Johnny back in the day before he was a movie star at Nelson Ledges, and we were in this hotel that we went in there, our room, and there was a pile of blood. not like a stain, like a 3-inch thick pile of congealed blood on the floor. We hope it's from someone butchering a deer, but
It was October, so that
there was a trucker brothel in the same parking lot as this hotel. So I'm thinking rather than like put the bleeding out prostitute corpse in your trunk or whatever in the cab of your Freightliner or your freight shaker, Billy, they maybe just eviscerated the prostitute in the hotel room and then chopped the pieces up small and to flush down the toilet. The reason I know that didn't happen is because I don't think these toilets actually flushed. And then we went in the bathroom and there were bloody handprints all over the bathroom walls, like somebody was resisting, being cut up in the bathroom. And so by that standard, all the nasty hotel rooms I've stayed at with Lemons races, and man, they've been pretty nasty. Nothing's measured up to the one at Nelson Ledges. That was just one of the many things that Nelson Ledges taught us about how to actually endure an unpleasant situation. And it turns out in this brothel, the way that you ordered services, like you didn't get on the CB radio like, yeah, we're at 10-4, I'm going to get a, 1049 or whatever it was. No, you had to do a code, like a Morse code on your air horns. So if you're trying to catch a couple of Z's, in between going back and forth to the track, which was like an hour away, and you hear, and that meant, I want to make a stop in every port, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, sorry, we don't talk about the race here. We got some racing action going on. We got a Solstice here on our hands. Dyson with a Miata.
I gotta say, Phil, your racing play-by-play isn't amazing, but the color commentary is as good as it's ever going to be.
When you're doing baseball announcing, who do you pay more, the color guy or the guy that does the balls and strikes? Actually, never mind. That's a bad way to put it.
Well, you pay Vin Scully because he can do both, but if you don't have a Vin Scully, then you need you need Harry Carey's.
What's a piss wasser?
I gotta say, it's like Bill King and then Ray Fosse. I mean, Ray Fosse was kind of like more like the straight man color guy to Bill King's incredibly literate Russian literature influenced sort of ranting, which maybe a big influence. I mean, I gotta say Bill King was probably a tremendous influence on my ranting style. But then as Ray Fosse, as the color man, he was the one that Pete Rose kind of ruined his career by spiking him in the All-Star game, like, for Christ's sake. Yeah. So you get him going, the only thing he would get fired up about would be either a catcher made a good play, or a catcher, stabbed somebody in the eye with a broken off golf club.
Yeah.
Oh, no, broken off golf club. Or, if someone started bringing up Pete Rose, he would basically start talking about all the terrible things he wanted to happen to Pete Rose. Now he should be, dragged behind a donkey train for a couple 100 miles and all that. And that was entertaining. He was the color man. I always feel like I'd be more leaning toward the Bill King thing, except for the technical knowledge of how to do a play-by-play. Mm-hmm. So maybe you should do that part.
I could probably.
How far do we have to go back on NBC Sports to hear NBC Sports commentator talking about a 3-inch thick congealed pile of blood on a rug in a hotel?
I think that actually comes up on live TV. That comes up more often than you might expect, and by that I mean at all.
Have you ever heard Bill Walton do anything? Bill Walton and Phil are like kin.
Oh my God.
So ACR Speed wants to hear about Judge Phil's take.
I don't know who this guy is, but I guess I got to learn more about him.
So ACR Speed on YouTube would like to hear Judge Phil's take on the Dodge Caliber / Nitro.
I got to say, like, one thing I've been trying to find with the Dodge Caliber in my junkyard explorations is they had like a boom box that would detach from the tailgate.
Yes.
For your picnics, and I keep trying to find one in the junkyard, and it turns out the Caliber had removable, rechargeable flashlights that were actually the dome lights. And yes. I've grabbed a couple of those in the junkyard. Turns out they have like 1977 style NiCad batteries. None of them work. It's so Chrysler. But I would say it would make my day if somebody ran a Caliber in Lemons. I mean, I don't care how much you spend. I mean, I don't think it's possible to spend more than $500 on a Caliber, to be honest. The nicest Caliber in your state's probably $507. $7 is for the little crack rock that's still left under the seat.
That's for the SRT logo.
Can you sell that crack rock and put that money to make your car under $500? Does that count?
That reminds me, now that cannabis has been legal in Colorado for, I don't know, what is it, 6 years now, I find weed in junkyard cars all the time. It's so cheap and easily available. Nobody even bothers to take it out of their car when they junk it.
So this is going to be amazing. I got to get this shot.
Okay.
Yeah. No, keep talking. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't want to take you
Here
off.
we go.
Tell me
There
a
we
little
go.
bit about-
There we go.
I mean, if you want me to be more of a hype guy, I can do like the kind of the Flava Flav thing. Yeah. But
Sorry, I saw
that.
6 cars under a blanket headed towards turn 5, presented by your uncle in Stevens Point, and I got excited. I can't control myself, you know.
So speaking of Wisconsin references, I mean, if any of you guys are from that region, Eric, you might even be familiar with this. You guys know about the Gobbler?
the Gobbler.
It was
Go
this
on.
cheesy restaurant in like Madison, I believe. They had, look on YouTube for the Gobbler. They had these TV ads that would go at the Gobbler, 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 Gobbler. And I learned about it because I married a Milwaukee woman. So when we went to Road America, we did the Gobbler penalty where people had to reenact that. Everybody that grew up in Wisconsin who was under back then like 30, who was over 30, knew the Gobbler song. And then we did it at the Shelton, Washington, was at the Ridge, and a whole bunch of people who had emigrated there from Wisconsin were very familiar with the Gobbler. Like I say, it's a very Wisconsinian thing. It was like, you know, the whole, you know, like Casa Bonita in Denver, where you've got like the sort of low budget Disney
So
on a
Casa
shoestring.
Bonita is a
tiki
real thing.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
God!
Oh,
It's
I did
exactly.
not know. I did
It's
not know that was a
exactly
real
the way it's
thing.
portrayed. So the only episode of South Park I've ever seen is the one with Casa Bonita. I live
It's
in
an
Denver.
excellent one to see if you're going to pick
And
one.
I've been to Casa Bonita, and it is 100% dead nuts accurate.
So there
Every
are
single
cliff
thing
divers in the restaurant.
Fuck yes. I mean, I'm
No
sorry.
way.
Sorry, kids. I said fuck yes.
No way. My wife just
No,
went
they
in the living
they hire,
room.
like, local
Yeah.
high school kids, and they like give them an extra
So it's
couple
in
bucks if they-
Denver.
if they
I'll
don't
be
get
damned.
drunk.
Oh, Howard Dean in the house.
No, it's in Denver, and the cool thing is it's right.
Suburban Denver.
It's,
Suburban
it's
Denver.
it's in urban Denver. I mean, it's right next to this super sketchy, liability-free amusement park called Lakeside.
There's a
They have-
liability-free amusement park.
Well, it appears to be
my
because it's
God.
right next to the midget racetrack that's still there and kind of falling down, where they had to close it in the 80s because something like 16 spectators got killed in one incident, and that seemed bad. I don't know. But they have this creaking, scary-ass wooden roller coaster where you've got like the 6-inch wide leather belt that holds you in place in your wooden seat, and it kills not that many people. I think only 3 or 4 people have died on it. Like one of them was trying
Whoa.
to surf on the hood.
So
But yeah, look at the
Mixer.
Lakeside
Whoa.
amusement park in Denver, and I think that's called the Cyclone, or maybe the Tornado. You can see it as you drive by on I-70. That's definitely a liability-free roller coaster, and very lemony. The whole place
Yes.
sort of smacks of lemonism.
Shout out to Lady Aubernon on Mixer Chat. Check out the broadcast text. That is excellent. There is an actual motel in Wisconsin called the Gobbler. That's amazing.
No, it's the same place. I'm sure that
Yeah.
the restaurant's not defunct, but yeah, at the
But, like,
Gobbler, you know, yeah, that's the song. I only know
Yeah,
it because
it's like a retro throwback. This is
like I
great.
said, my wife grew up in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, and
Excellent.
so I've been around a lot of Milwaukee people, and like I'm from Minneapolis originally, so there's a certain kinship there, I suppose. When I go back there, it's funny. I mean, the accent starts sneaking back in. You know what I mean?
Wow. Excellent attempt at a Rockford turn that didn't work out there.
That was bad good.
I need to ask this again. You can control your parking brake in iRacing, correct?
On
Some
the
cars have
rally
them
on
come
the
down.
rally cars and the pro Lucas Oil off-road trucks are the only 2 that I know of.
Now, in the Camaro, can you throw beer cans out the window? Is there a key
Yes.
command for that? Like control
There is a
right.
yes, Matthew Cox. Someone did the fist. Who was that? I'm gonna go back and show that again.
It was
Holy
the 5
crap.
Yeah.
Holy
I just
crap.
found a newspaper article about the Gobbler Motel, and it's just
There you go, Matt
By the way,
Cox.
Sunduro
Just for
Motel-
you, buddy.
So Jesse
Oh my God,
Valentine
Gobbler-
Ports. Jessica Valentine
Gobbler
Ports on
Motel is a
YouTube.
new and exciting experience in good living, a quiet escape into a world of color and convenience, intimate luxury in a way you've never had it before.
Dude,
In
I
like
gotta,
1978,
dude,
yeah.
look at this. Look at this. Here, I'll put it on the screen for
Oh,
all the
yeah,
viewers
it's
at home.
a
Look at this place.
That's an Opel GT. That's an Opel GT.
It is an Opel GT. I think it might be a really drunk artist's version of a Corvette, but they're related, you know.
That's
Maybe,
right.
Actually, I think it's a Pontiac Banshee.
Over here at over here at isuckatracing.com, we put web pages up over the broadcast so that you can see what we're talking about. That's how we do it.
At the Gobbler. So we did that as a penalty where the whole team had to sing that, and they were getting into it.
I'm gonna have to get a picture of this and make this an official
By the way, I want to
sponsor.
go back to a comment that Jesse Valentine Ports on the YouTube channel has. He asked if I prefer the Lexus LS or Panther chassis. That's a really good question. I would say, in terms of build quality, you can't beat the Lexus LS. I mean, they probably drug tested all of the assembly line workers that made that car and made sure they weren't drunk. Whereas with the Panther, if you weren't blowing at least a .12, you didn't get to work on it. But that said, I mean, the Panther chassis got giant brakes. It's pretty good for that. And the junkyard parts availability is just, you can't beat it. So I'd say if I were actually putting a team together that wanted maximum seat time at a Lemons race,
oh my God,
I'd probably go for the Panther. But I'd go for the town car.
Sorry, there's a Gobbler TV commercial on YouTube. Nicholas, you should post a link to that. I'll play it. I'll play it right now if you post a link to it.
That we're watching Wisconsin crap.
I would say from having seen a lot of Lexus LSs and many more Crown Vic P71s on the racetrack, I'd say the LS is a little quicker around the racetrack just because it's somewhat more sophisticated suspension. But I think in terms of average number of laps per race, I think you're better off with the P71. Just saying.
Graphic.
I'm not seeing that, were we?
There's a link on the Gobbler page that was shared in Mixer to a site called the Institute of Official Cheer. Holy crap!
Yes. I sent that to you on Facebook.
Wonderful. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Lady Albernon
Folks, we're
on
headed
Mixer.
to the end of the internet tonight, and I hope you're ready for this, because if that's not where you thought your week was starting, I just want you all to know that that's where it's going to be starting, and God knows where it's going to end.
This is wonderful.
You know, I really enjoyed the races we did at Road America. I mean, it's a nice place, yeah. And my grandfather raced there a lot in the 50s and 60s, and when they called it Elkhart Lake. And whenever he talked about it, his descriptions always emphasized the quality of drinking to be had there.
Right.
There was a lot of good drinking there. He won
good food.
He won the Corvette Trophy in 1960 from the 3M Corvette Club. As you might have imagined, that was a St. Paul thing. And whenever you talk about it, it was like when he talked about World War II. Like, he was in the South Pacific, bunch of combat zones. All he ever talked about was the fact that he stole 15 Army Harleys and stashed them away in New Guinea somewhere. It was the same thing when he talked about going racing his Corvette at Elkhart Lake, or his 356. He had a coupe, in fact. He would never talk about the racing. He would always talk about being at Siebken's and drinking everyone else under the table, which I assume was peach schnapps. In fact, I know it was peach schnapps, which is really a retrograde drink that I recommend nobody ever try.
Not straight, no way.
No, that's what Minnesotans drink, you know. I mean, because you need some antifreeze in your blood where you're going to go ice fishing. And from what I can gather, I've never ice fished, but the Minnesota version is you cut a hole in the ice, you have a shack, and some form of heat in the shack. I'm guessing a burning tire, and you stare at the hole and drink peach schnapps until you die.
Until you die. Yes, exactly.
There's something do you actually catch fish when ice fishing? I've never heard of it happening.
Yeah. There's actual fish that are still moving.
Oh my God!
Do you eat them raw? Do you have like ice fishing sushi as you're knocking back your schnapps? Oh, hold on, the gobbler's gonna play. Here we go. There he is.
Oh boy!
All right, turn the sound up. I'm not hearing it, but you get the idea.
Outside.
Oh man, that's Wisconsin.
Is this real life?
It is.
I would say, yeah, I-94 right there. Yeah, I've driven that. So apparently turkeys are going to the gobbler to eat turkey. So it's kind of like the cannibal. Yeah.
94, exit Highway 26, about halfway to Madison.
It's about halfway to Madison.
Excellent.
Yeah,
thank you, Zap. Zap
Can we cut to the 113 car?
Oh, Zap Rousdowser is actually Judge Rich from Colorado. Many of you have been disciplined by him at Thompson.
Thank you.
So, car 113, Wisconsin Crap Racing, they're from Janesville, which must be within 10 miles of the Gobbler.
And actually, the team captain owned I believe it was a Chevy dealership there. Maybe it was Pontiac.
Yep. So the Hessler family owns, I think it's a Kia dealership.
Yeah, he was very excited to find out that not only that my wife had Milwaukee roots and I had Minnesota roots, because it made me seem less like some kind of foreign, California big city guy. I like those guys. I mean, they actually won a race eventually, but one of the things I like best about them is when we had the 2016 Decade of Disappointment race, the 10-year anniversary race at Gingerman, they heard that a whole bunch of Southern racers were going to be there, so they put a giant General Sherman holding up 2 middle fingers on the roof of their car, just as a message to our Southern racer friends that, you know who lost that war? Well, it wasn't the North. I'm just going to put that out there. It wasn't the North. Yeah, they're there. The farting cow. I wear that shirt a lot too, and it gets it gets me the side eye from people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is it the methane capital of the world?
Janesville? No, Janesville's where they used to build, I believe, C10s, right? Is that what they built there?
Sounds right.
No.
Bufu is asking if you guys have ever done a race at Mid-Ohio.
They built the N-body Malibus.
The N-body?
And by the way, well, so this is an interesting fun fact. Here's a car we really want to have in Lemons. I was just writing about this. The 2004-2005 Chevrolet Classic, which is the previous generation Malibu they kept building for fleet buyers after they upgrade might not be the right word, but they switched the Malibu to the Alero platform. Is that an upgrade? No, I'm sorry, to the Vectra platform. Yeah, that's an upgrade. It's more European. They're always better at these things. But because the original Malibu, the N-body Malibu, was so good, they kept making an Ecotec-powered classic, Chevy Classic, for 2 years, 2004, 2005. I would love to see one of those. That's Class C all the way. I'll keep you in Class C.
If you're going to bring a Malibu to the track for Lemons, it needs to be a Malibu Max because they were so beautiful.
Oh, I'd love to see one.
Hey, Judge Phil, Max. I'm supposed to let you know that Ripster from Twitch was drinking peach schnapps straight last night. So there you go.
You know, the thing is, what I learned
from... It was the only thing left in his house. That's
you don't have to say that part because I know that. Actually, Eric and I, when we were having a few drinks at the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, decided when we were with our friend Johan Samantha, who's another Lemons racer from Michigan, decided in honor of our Midwestern heritage, we would drink a truly bad Midwestern drink, which ended up being peach schnapps and paper cups, and all of us were just a hair's breadth from vomiting soon after that, because it turns out peach schnapps is just vile.
It was peach schnapps and Pabst was what that evening was.
Really? Oh, God.
Sean, you're a Southerner who's not too far from Atlanta. You're familiar with the Claremont Lounge, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So you know what we're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, when I lived in Atlanta in 95, 96, when I worked for Year One, that's right, if you buy stuff from the Year One catalog, there's still my copy in that catalog. And by the way, as a little aside there, when we did the Camaro catalog, I'm not kidding, people would return Camaro stuff because we'd spelled Camaro C-A-M-A-R-O instead of E-R-O. They said, that ain't right. You know, it's E-R-O. I mean, it's on the door panels. It's on the steering wheel. It's probably on the speedometer, and yet they still insist on spelling with an E, and that's why we keep making that joke in Lemons. Is like, and actually, I was told when I was writing these catalogs, like, because we did GTOs and you know, full-size Chevys and all that, when you're writing the Camaro catalog, and to a somewhat lesser extent the Firebird catalog, you really got to stick a knitting needle through your frontal lobes and just dumb it down. I mean, one-syllable words. Just keep it simple, because the people using these catalogs, they're not so good at the reading thing. I mean, no offense to you Camaro drivers, but I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I was living there. I was living in Atlanta in 95, 96, and I had a friend who was in a band that was like a kind of a, you know, X-style punkabilly band. And they played at the Claremont Lounge a few times. And I went and saw them there, and saw a bunch of really good acts at the Claremont. And then I figured, okay, you know, this is great. Like, you know, 400-pound gender-confusing stripper junkies, you know, and all that. It's like, it's my kind of place. And I came back for a race a few years ago, and I went back there, and nothing had changed. Everything else in Atlanta has changed. It's become totally hipsterized. But the Claremont has not changed a bit. It's still an incredible place. Good bands. Good junkies. They serve the booze in paper cups so you can't stab each other with broken glasses. So you're in the greatest place ever. But don't drink peach schnapps while you're there. Just a little FYI.
It's trying to be like one of those professional YouTubers or streamers and put the chat up on the stream so people could watch full screen and read the chat, but doesn't look like it's very readable. So we'll try that again next time.
I'm sorry to be, sucking all the conversational oxygen out of this. Go ahead and do some rants yourself.
Please do.
No, I'm
please
a
do.
ranter. I do it, and
That's good.
I just went out and had a fine meal of octopus tentacles and to-go Manhattans, and still haven't written my post for Auto Week for tomorrow morning, so it's going to be a good one, I'm pretty sure.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, here's Fail Incorporated. I know those guys.
Nice. It's good.
So,
yeah, that's
Phil,
the. Go ahead.
I want to go back to the caliber
The strange
nitro.
itch that you have in your genitals right now?
That too. Well, I know what that is.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Nelson,
do you really?
It's happening at my house.
Because that's the you're right. That's the scabies right there. They actually, scabies actually will shut down a restaurant. I learned that from Santa Cruz, that you could actually have the health department shut down your restaurant because you have a scabies outbreak, because it turns out it can be spread through food. Anyway, you're going to ask me about Nelson Ledges?
Well, no. The
Okay.
scabies is a great introduction to what was the design process of the Caliber and the Nitro in the mid 2000s. What was the thought behind that? Because this is where the meat of that story is.
Well, I think it was like, we've spent a lot of money developing the Neon, right? I mean, it costs a lot. Come on, let's face it, it's not a Mitsubishi. Like, they could have just used a Mitsubishi platform, but instead they grunted out. And we'll say there's a certain amount of Play-Doh fuzzy pumper sphincter action going on here. They grunted out their own from scratch design, and Chrysler had a kind of a hard time. I mean, this is the company that sold the Hillman Avenger as an economy car because they figured maybe the Colt that was based on the Mitsubishi Galant wasn't going to make it. I mean, I love Chrysler. Like, don't get me wrong, I run a lot of Chryslers, and I love their American spirit and everything they stand for. But when it came to the Caliber and the Journey, for that matter, I mean, they're like, God, if we had to develop our own car from scratch, we got to get a lot of mileage out of this. So they took the Neon platform, and I think each of them, when they sat down to design the Caliber, gave each other a couple of whacks with a hammer, in the head to simulate the kind of experience that the salesman would have to have when they tried to move this iron. And, they figured, okay, and September 11th had happened, so they need to make the cars look kind of tough because Americans had all become terrified. So you wanted to have a car that looked sort of military, the kind of thing you do a drive-by shooting out of, because Americans had lost all their confidence. Like in the old days, when Americans knew they were on top of the world, we had big windows in our cars because you weren't totally afraid of, bad people coming in and getting in through your large window openings and ravaging you. So they made really small window openings in the Caliber. And were we including the Journey in this? I forget. Is it the Journey or just the Caliber?
The Journey may as well be in there.
I mean, the Journey's kind of Caliber-like, although I believe that's based on a Slovenian 4x4, right?
Don't forget the Nitro.
Right. Well, the Nitro, like I said, so once September 11th happened, Chrysler decided to get tough. They decided all the names had to be very violent. I believe that, wasn't there like the Nitro Murder Edition?
Yes.
They had to get more tough because Americans had become very afraid, very fearful. And Chrysler thought they would address that by taking the Neon, which is a cute little car, and making it a murderer. And so you figure, picture the Neon just on parole still with an ankle bracelet, but where the battery's gone dead because it's the same battery they use in the little flashlights in the Caliber, right? And he's going around. He's got some kind of homemade weapon. I'm going to say like a pantyhose full of D batteries. He's staggering around in some kind of once luxurious suburban sprawl area, now kind of gone to seed. Do you remember the Spur Posse in Long Beach? Kind of like that. And so you figure you're covered with blood, you're looking for enemies, and you're finding them everywhere. What kind of menacing car do you want to have for that search? Well, you certainly don't want a Neon. I mean, come on now. The Neon was a cute, happy little car. What you wanted was a murderer. You wanted a car that was murderous, or a Nitro, which is the same thing. I mean, something named after explosives, something named after a firearm. The Magnum was the same sort of thing. And I mean, this is what Americans do. They hit them hard. Americans hit them hard. And when you're driving a Chrysler, there's nothing really more American. I mean, there was the Fury, which was pretty angry sounding. But at the same time, the Fury was a confident car. That was when we were really ruling the world. And I think when you become a superpower that's afraid, you need cars that have names that sound like murderers. So that's all I'm saying. Caliber is a perfect Lemons car for that very reason.
So the Duster, like as in it's killing people. I think
Well,
the time that Caliber came out, though, I'm pretty sure that the design team was up in Detroit. They were in a boardroom somewhere, and the design team looked at each other, and they were just like, "Okay, what would Chris Bangle do?"
Actually, if you'd like to see the Nitro and the Caliber thing, I would say I wrote about this ad. There was an ad that had little fuzzy cartoon creatures. Search on AutoWeek for neither Cuddly nor a Woodley, and you'll find a link to this ad. And put that ad on. It's incredible. It's little fuzzy animals getting beaten down in a spray of blood and teeth into a quivering heap of sort of gelatinous redness because there's no neon here, folks. This is just pure murder. Find that.
Oh my God.
Sorry, people. Did I mention that I'm an automotive journalist? And
It's great.
Where can I
I'm
find
sorry.
you on the internet, Phil?
You
Yes.
can't.
Yes.
You can't find me. Don't even try.
Sorry.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
I've actually been having recently, people I knew from college and even high school have been figuring out that I'm merely Martin and sending me these emails. You're this weird guy. It's like, well, what was I in high school? I mean, come on now. You know, I feel like I let you down somehow.
If you didn't know what was weird then, what was I doing?
Your checkered history of automotive projects from that era is fascinating in and of itself. You had
But I wasn't the only one doing that sort of thing. I mean, I think it comes from growing up in a Navy town where everybody was broke and with a big street racing culture. I mean, we had street races over on this access road at what's now Oakland Airport where, I mean, I remember betting on a VW bus against, I don't remember what, something similarly slow. I'm going to say like a 6-cylinder Camaro. Actually, that's not quite as fast as a VW bus.
Battle for the lead in the Solstice class right here.
Oh, we're actually, we got 43 minutes.
Snoochie Boochies on the
There's a
license
race
plate
going
also.
on.
That's
That's crazy.
I'll get
There's
it,
a race
I'll get
going
it.
on.
Yes.
Snoochie Boochies.
Snoochie
And the
Boochies,
top-
bitches.
By the way,
15
here in
bucks,
Colorado,
little man.
they determined very early on that cannabis is an essential business because if they didn't, people would be dying
Ooh,
from huffing
ooh.
fucking Scotch card.
I was waiting for El Punterino and it did not happen. Congratulations.
Driving actually. How about
Amazing. Yeah, this is great. We're going to stick with this a little bit here. This is the battle, the two solstices on the screen. Ignore the Cheap Trick Miata. It is not involved,
Is
but
that Cheap Trick?
well, I mean, you know,
that? I think
checkerboard.
it's Vans off the wall, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
There's a.
I mean,
there's-
because
yeah.
I was thinking I never really liked Cheap Trick, the band, all that much, but then I was realizing that their song off of the heavy metal soundtrack, I Must Be Dreaming, it's quite a song. It's a pretty decent song.
We have a heavy metal liveried car.
Have you
up
seen the
there
heavy
tonight.
metal car, Phil?
Is there a heavy metal car?
Oh,
I mean,
it's-
that's a movie, right? The animation.
Who? Yes,
It's a-
correct. Who?
That's-
What? If I
I
can
gotta say,
remember
it's a
which.
pretty terrible movie, but you know,
26.
it's.
See, you're the historian of the group, Eric. It's great.
Oh, there
you
you go.
go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that, man.
What is that
On
do
the-
for
on
you?
the-
That's like a
On the beach,
baby
boy.
bird with bat wings. I mean, it's like interspecies, like not even a mammal. I mean, a bird. It's a bird face with bat wings, but that's kind of emblematic of how that movie went. I mean, it was. I remember watching that movie when it first came out, and I wasn't even on drugs because I didn't know much about drugs at that point. I remember thinking like, has something gone wrong with my brain? Because I can't make head nor tail of this thing. It turns out nobody could.
Yeah, the animation was bad even for the time.
Well, it was like 1 frame per second animation,
Right.
you know. But at the same time, I mean, I found in this junkyard called Phelps's in the Bay Area, which is still there. I found a tape of the soundtrack for Heavy Metal cassette, and I listened to it a lot. It was one of my few cassettes I had back then. And I really got to like the soundtrack album. It's got a good Black Sabbath song. It's got the Mob Rules on it. Good song.
Oh, nice.
It's got that Donald Fagen song, Heavy Metal. I mean, not an Eagles fan, but I mean, it's got the Sammy Hagar title song. I mean, I got some issues with Sammy Hagar, but I mean, he did write Rock Candy in 5 minutes, and like that song is the most Camaro song in human history. I mean, let's give it to Sammy.
He also wrote Three Lockbox, which was a very, very difficult song to write, evidently.
I would have to say though, that the song he wrote after he drove his Citroen 2CV, which is what he bought with his first big paycheck from Montrose, he wrote this song, Rock Candy, which is it's everything a rock and roll song could be. It's stupid. It has 2 chords, not even 3, 2. And it's hard, sweet, and sticky. Is that not the most rock and roll line ever? I gotta say. And since that time, I mean, Sammy's kind of lost my heart a little bit, his politics and his terrible tequila and all that. But that song, you can't argue with it. I mean, can't argue. And plus, Van Halen after David Lee Roth, why even bother? I mean, Sammy Hagar just prolonged the long, tormented death of Van Halen.
He made bajillions of dollars doing it.
I know, but without the sense of humor of David Lee Roth, I mean, is it really Van Halen? I would say no.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I mean, keep in mind that I was in high school when Van Halen was at their peak, and so because of that, I tend to be biased. And for me, also, Sammy Hagar peaked with Montrose, so there's that. Although, like I said, the soundtrack for heavy metal, the title song that Sammy Hagar did is pretty good. One Way Ticket to Midnight. I mean, the most meaningless rock and roll lyric you could imagine, and yet somehow it works perfectly.
Well, it blended right in with the stellar animation of the.
It was pretty much the musical equivalent of the stellar animation, wasn't it? So let's get back to talking about scabies.
Ultimately, heavy metal is the most Camaro thing you could put on a Camaro, right?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, maybe that or Chlamydia.
Yeah.
Have we had a Chlamydia theme yet?
That or anything by Quiet Riot. I mean,
The problem with Chlamydia, though, is that it's really hard to spell.
Somebody take that down.
That's a t-shirt right there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the real problem with it.
Bad
It's hard to
80s rock
spell.
and roll. Like, I remember this big sign that used to be hanging up over Rasputin Records in Berkeley in about, I'd say, circa 1986. What has 7 arms and sucks? Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Yeah.
That was after the car crash.
Good times.
And by the way, the Bon Scott death in the Renault 5 too is also a good Lemons theme nobody's done.
Which one?
Well, Bon Scott died of choking on his own vomit in a Renault 5 parked in outside of Scotland pub. I mean, that's kind of the combination of the most rock and roll possible death and also just pathetic. If you're gonna die in a rock and roll death, at least in your bathtub, So he'd had a few too many. He staggered out to his buddy's Renault 5, which we in America know as the Renault Le Car, and kind of passed out, sitting in the passenger seat. We assume choked on his own vomit and then froze to death. It's one of those sort of Scottish deaths that, I mean, that is very rock and roll. I'm going to say, Bon Scott, you did it right.
So, Judge Phil, can we get your opinion on Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, is that?
I'm gonna cut in and say
Okay, go ahead.
Phil doesn't know nearly enough pop culture.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know like a random scattering of pop culture, but when I was about 17, which was 1983, I decided, it's like Keith Richards said about heroin. It's not for everyone. And I think pop culture is not for everyone too, and it's not for me. So I disconnected from it. So I know a few random things.
It's the bad guys in Karate Kid, by the way.
You know what? I saw Karate Kid 120 times, but with no sound because I was working in the ticket booth at a drive-in movie theater that summer. So I didn't have sound, so I just saw it. I saw it 120 times.
Did you make up your own?
So
Did you make up your own?
Phil literally thinks that the Cobra Kai guys are the good guys, and that Daniel guy that kept picking fights with him is the asshole.
I heard that theory, and it doesn't sound too bad to me. Daniel was actually the bad guy.
Biblical allegory.
What did Johnny from Cobra Kai drive? Did he have a Corvette?
Did he have a car?
I feel like
They were on bicycles.
No, I saw Karate Kid a whole bunch of times.
Okay.
I saw Ghostbusters a whole bunch of times. I saw Against All Odds. That one has a Ferrari chase, so it kind of stuck with me. But we had one of it was the drive-in rep at the Navy base in Alameda, and they had the speakers that you hang in your window, and most of them didn't work. There was supposed to be one in the ticket booth, but it didn't work. And so I'd sort of hear this ghostly echo of the words, coming from the lot. But mostly, when the film would break, everyone who had a Camaro, which is most of the audience, would go do burnouts until they fixed the broken film. And then they would get the guys in the leaf blowers the next day to blow out all the old used condoms sitting out there. There were a lot of them. There was a lot of Camaro kind of hot action going on at that drive-in movie theater.
Which is, it's not as hot as Pinto action.
I gotta say, like, Camaros and motorcycles were very popular among sailors.
No,
and so like the Enterprise would come back in and
chat. They're talking about Johnny owning an F-body. In the movie, Johnny has an Avanti 3, which is
that's not an F-body.
The second attempt to revive the Studebaker Avanti. If you go look on IMCDB.
What engine did they put in those? It was no longer a Studebaker engine.
It had to have been a small block.
Small Chevy. I mean, it had to. No, it was whatever was cheap. Like AMC 360.
No, because this was after, like, somebody bought the rights to build it and built it with
No, there are a whole bunch of scammy businessmen kind of... Did I say that? That's kind of liability there. A whole bunch of entrepreneurs with an edgy kind of a taste for business took over the Studebaker name one after the other. And I got to say, not quite as cool as the guys who brought back the Stutz name, because the Stutz Blackhawk, one of the greatest motor vehicles ever made. Mink line trunk is all I have to say.
When they did it in the 60s.
Was it a 327 AMC or a 327 Chevy?
Chevy 327. And then...
Because the AMC had a 327, it was far superior. It weighed 400 more pounds.
God, and nobody knows anything about these things because there's such a...
No, nobody knows because there were probably 3 different competing, lawsuit-firing companies making fake Avantis.
That's exactly what it was.
And I gotta say, the Avanti was not a particularly good-looking car.
No. It's not Dick Teague's high point.
It's on the screen right now, and it is literally detracting from the high power value. It's that bad.
Yeah.
And what's even better about it is the wire hubcaps, where it's probably weren't even wire.
No, I'm sure.
So let's talk about the car number 12 that we're looking at right now. Do you think this guy's real name is Tyler Stank? Because if it is, I'm gonna have a toast to a guy whose name is Stank. He was Green Day's original bassist.
Totally real.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I would like to also mention that earlier in the chat there was a reference to the Dead Milkman, and because of that, we're all going to come over and do burnouts on your lawn.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dead Milkman, recurring theme in Lemons.
Happy Cupcake.
During my brief period as a college radio DJ, that was when Bitch and Camaro came out. I played that song quite a bit because, it said so many things about what's right about America.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Tony Orlando and Dawn.
The 80s Avanti had the V8 from the Camaro. Not shocking. So it had 103.
Well, there were a lot of V8s in the Camaro, though. The Camaro came with a whole assortment of terrible V8s. Patriotic American V8s. So let's get back to the Nitro and the Caliber, because I'd really like to see a Lemons team actually running both of them. I'm just going to say right here, get yourself a Nitro or a Caliber where you'd have to cheat unbelievably hard to have us care about your budget.
Wasn't the whole thing about it was like when you guys first started traveling for Lemons in the early days, like every effing rental car was a Dodge Nitro.
Well, we had, what I remember most about the Nitro, we had a lot of Journeys too, and the Journey was the one that would make Nick the most angry because he would say, whoever was saying stepping up the rental cars, I think it was the Archangel doing that. If we get a Journey, I'm going to quit, and it was always a Journey. And the sad thing was Phil Floriday, rest in peace, was in charge of PR for the Journey, and he was a Lemons racer that we loved a lot, and he eventually died of cancer. And I just feel bad about all the bad things I said about the Journey. Because it was his job to try to make people buy Journeys. And that was actually the car that Marcioni said was unfit for human consumption. It was not a good car. Let's just say, even by Chrysler standards, they were ashamed of that car. But yeah, we had the Nitro, and the first time I got in a Nitro, I remember I sliced my fingers open on the casting flash on the door handle. I mean, how do you do that? How do you make a car so bad where people slice their hands open on the door handle? Come on now. At least you get some $3 an hour guy with a rat tail file to knock off the edges of the casting flash. But like, oh, we did the spreadsheet on that, and it just doesn't make economic sense to do that. So
Those door handles were brought to you by Mainway Toys. You remember that?
is that an actual toy company?
They made Bag of Glass.
Oh, yeah.
And Aykroyd.
Oh, so Derek Steinkamp, another one of my favorite
Sulfuric
lemon
acid.
Derek Steinkamp, another one of my favorite lemons racers. Although I hope he isn't hearing me say this because I want him to think that I want to discipline him really hard. Says that he owns Phil Florida's Lemons car. Actually, was that the Fiero? Do you have
It was
the Fiero?
the Quantum. It was the
Oh,
Quantum.
the Quantum, right? Okay, I guess that did start out. Well, that was Mike Austin's team and all that. Yeah, so
They raced that car. That makes sense.
yeah, it was Austin's car.
So that's a Volkswagen Quantum Synchro wagon.
Well, they put an S5 motor in it. It's like let me tell you guys, if you guys want to find a way to beat the system and actually just totally dominate, go ahead and get yourself an S5 engine, put in a Quantum. We won't even care. And you look at it on paper, it's like the finest German engineering ever with lots of boost. You get out there, go ahead and do it. And in fact, I remember like that Lemons race at High Plains Raceway in Colorado, where we actually had an Audi for the first time an Audi won a Lemons race. It was a V6 Audi 90, naturally aspirated front wheel drive, and we had two 1.8T powered A4s that finished last and second to last in that very same race. Just saying, I feel bad for people who try to race Audis and Lemons because, I mean, I've reviewed enough new Audis. They're great cars when they're brand new. I mean, you lease an Audi, like they're so good to drive. But then by the time you can get one as a Lemons car, they're not. There's something missing in the reliability department, and by that I mean you're better off with an '87 Hyundai Excel.
That's right.
But back to the Nitro.
Before we move on from the journey,
Yeah.
you can still buy a 2019 Journey right now, 2020
Really?
Journey, with a 4-cylinder and,
Oh, God.
and a 4-speed automatic.
Can you get one with a manual though?
I'm sure they're all just the same 4-speed that was in the Caliber in 2005.
and actually,
Without
here-
any adjustments.
Here's a question for our YouTube audience, because that happens to be the feed I'm looking at the comments on. What was the last car company? What was the last new car, not truck, car you could buy in North America that had a 4-speed manual? What was the last one? I'm going to say it was like the 95 Nissan Sentra, because that had a 4-speed, but it was probably something even after that, like when was the last year for the Plymouth Sundance? It might have been a Sundance. So what was the last 4-speed manual you could buy in a car in North America?
It was a Hyundai Excel. I guarantee it.
Man, I think those had 5 speeds early on, though. And by the mid-90s, Hyundai had really gotten their act together. Like I say, like all the bad things I say about the early Hyundai Excel, by like 92, Hyundai had made the most amazing switch from building utter garbage to building damn good cars. And it was like flicking a switch. They decided, okay, we got people buying our cars now. We're making enough yuan on each of these cars. One yuan, and I pronounce it. Let's start making good cars, because why not? And they did. And since that time, I mean, Hyundais are well-made cars. But I would say that I would doubt the Excel or the Scoop, which was Excel-based, had a 4-speed in the United States after, I'm going to say 92. But what is it? And I know that you could get Sentras with 4 speeds pretty late, because Nissan, they stopped caring about the Sentra.
When did Yugo go away?
91, I believe it was.
Yugo was 92, I think, and it was the
Was
last
it?
carbureted car.
There was a
No,
4-speed.
actually, it was-
Was that a 5-speed?
There's a lot of debate about the final carbureted car in North America. Some people say it was the Ford Crown Victoria, the 91, the police version with the 351 Windsor. Others say it was the Subaru Justy, the two-wheel drive one. I don't think it was the Yugo. I believe the Yugo actually was gone. Well, I don't know. We get the Yugo experts chiming in on this. But I believe the Yugo actually had a 5-speed pretty early, too, because it was based on Fiat 127/128 hardware. They went to 5 speeds pretty early. I think it was the Sentra. I'm going to guess it was the Sentra, but someone will know.
Sasha.
No. I mean, we've got a commenter saying, yeah, they had 5-speed Sentras, but yeah, that was something you paid extra for. That was if you were getting the luxury Sentra that had like a heater and windows that went up and down. I mean, what do you got, money to just throw away? The real cheap Sentras, I had a 92 Sentra with a 4-speed that I spent 50 whole American dollars for in like 2002.
Wayne Moyer in chat saying that the Tercel had a 4-speed in 97.
I can believe that. The Tercel EZ was a real corner cutter. Although, really, if you're going to buy the cheapest possible car you could get in the late 90s, I mean, the Tercel is probably the one least likely to break down on you. Actually, you know what? I bet the Colt/Mirage had a 4-speed getting pretty late, too.
Twin stick, though.
Well, I mean, the twin stick went away in the mid 80s, but I mean, I bet there was a 4 on the floor. Somebody probably still had a 4 on the floor with a straight 6 pretty late. Like, what about the 3rd gen Camaro? I mean, how late? What was the last 6-cylinder 3rd gen with a manual? Actually, those are all T5s, weren't they?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I actually did during this riveting conversation. I went to Auto Trader to look up the cheapest Dodge Caliber that I could find, and the cheapest one I can find is still $2,950 asking
You need to go to
price.
Copart. If
I
you
would
go to
say-
Copart will be full of. dollars.
You could just go to your neighborhood and find somebody who's like, I'm so sick of this horrible car. When I go to the junkyards these days, like 2 years ago, the Chrysler section was nothing but Neons and PT Cruisers. Now, man, it's Avengers, 200s. Actually, I'm going to say, like, the Chrysler 200, until the Chrysler 200 came out, nothing ever beat the first-gen Hyundai Excel from showroom to junkyard. The early Excel was like 4 or 5 years average to the junkyard. The Chrysler 200, I was seeing them, they still had window stickers on them in the junkyard. I mean, that was ugly. They went right from the showroom floor, like, take it out a couple times, like, oh God, no one will take it. I'm just junking it, So, for that reason, Chrysler 200, go ahead, get the most optioned up Chrysler 200 you could possibly find, cage it, and bring it to a Lemons Race Class C. I don't care how new it is. Do it. In fact, I'd have to say Chrysler 300C, I'd probably put the first Hemi Chrysler 300 that shows up to Lemons, I'd probably put it in Class C. I mean, why not? What's the worst that could happen? A Chrysler 300 wins Class C? Go ahead and do it.
We've had a Hemi Charger. We had a.
Did it run away with it? I believe it ran away with the race by 300 laps, didn't it?
That's exactly right. And when we say that, I mean they spun the car 3 times in the opening hour and then broke it. So yeah, it's exactly what you expected.
Like I had a Hellcat press car a couple of years ago. I took it to Pikes Peak. Hellcat. And it was fast, right? I mean, I got to say, like, it didn't. Although fast is a kind of a relative term, because a friend of mine who has a bunch of Model T Ford says the fastest he's ever driven in his life was 32 miles an hour in a Model T. I understand that completely. I think if you brought a Hellcat to a Lemons race, that it would not win. I think that if a very smart team took a Hellcat to a Lemons race and only passed when you had an absolute unbreakable chance of getting the pass clean and then pulling back in line and not fucking up, I think you could win a Lemons race with a Hellcat. But the problem is, you would have all those horsepowers, and you would say, oh man, I'm going to pass the entire field on this lap, and you would not be able to resist, and you would lose as a result because you'd break something or crash or whatever. But yeah, I think if you brought a brand new Hellcat to a Lemons race, you could win it if you were really smart and very restrained, but I don't think it'd be possible to do. I mean, none of us would be able to do that because of, like, you'd start to feel that Hellcat itch. It's like having scabies, but even better, and you'd lose.
What if you had a Chrysler 300 or a Hellcat at Nelson's Ledges?
Well, you'd stop at the drug bridge, and then by the time you noticed, the race would be over. I mean, you'd have to pick up on a couple of hefty bags full of meow meow.
Which 300?
What the hell? By the way, what is meow meow? I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by the idea of a drug called meow meow.
I have no idea.
It's a drug. No, it's a real popular. There's a moral panic about meow meow going on. Maybe not anymore because people can't go out anymore. Now they're just sniffing Scotch Guard and cleaning products.
What, kitty fanatics? I had never heard of that.
You know, I noticed Steph Schrader's commenting on the 4-speed manual thing. Come to think of it, I bet the Mitsubishi Lancer might not the Evo, the regular Lancer might have been one of the last 4-speed manuals available in North America. Although, what was the last year for the Colt? Colt was like 04. It was late.
Got the standard catalog if we want to be super nerdy about it, but I don't really feel like it.
Yeah, I actually got the stack of all the standard catalogs literally 3 feet from me right now because I've been writing a bunch of junkyard posts.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the junkyard posts I wrote today, which will be up on Autoblog pretty soon, it was the 2004 Malibu or Chevy Classic.
Sick. You know, you mentioned recently when I was talking to you that you haven't seen one of those, and since then I've seen like 30 of the damn things.
Well, you live in Illinois, where I think people are happy to drive former rental cars.
That
might have something to do with it.
By the way.
Well, the one I saw was silver, so this is great. It's the interior is covered with cannabis dispensary stickers because why not? When you're the car's last owner, why not? On the outside, it had swim team stickers from a Topeka high school on it. So I figured, okay, it's a rental car at the Wichita or whatever, Kansas City airport, and then ends up getting bought. Some family gives it to their kid who's a swimming star. Kid ends up moving to Salida, Colorado. You know, put some studded snow tires on it because that's what it had when I saw it in the junkyard. And it was really obvious that what happened to this car was hood latch failed, flew up, broke the windshield, car scrapes the guardrail for a couple hundred yards, and then rear ends somebody, and it ends up in the junkyard. And I realized, like, is that the most Chevy Classic kind of end to a car career that you could imagine? I think it is.
Evidently, Meow Meow is bath salts.
Okay, so Meow Meow and bath salts are not the same thing, though. I believe Meow Meow is a whole genre of things that make you feel different.
I don't know. Lady Albernon says Meow Meow is mephedrone. And
Mephedrone? Isn't that a race series on Neptune?
Mephedrone. I think that's
Sorry, did we just get kicked off YouTube for that?
I'm not sure what just happened.
No,
and then
No, we got
there's
13 seconds total, so you just used up 2.
Oh, did they give you 13 seconds?
It's called fair. It's called fair use. Yeah.
Okay, so I just used 2. That's fine.
Yeah,
so
we'll just keep track. So you have 11 left. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, good.
The international struggles of our world may lead to nuclear holocaust.
Speaking of the Dodge Journey.
God.
Oh, look, here's Donnie Petrunak. Or Petrunak. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Speaking of bath salts.
I think he and I are going to be on the same team this come this the Sears Point race. Sears Pointless. There's talk of that.
Oh yeah, that's whatever.
Well, that's the
we got a keyboarder.
Super secret build that Neil Losey and Corey Dickman are putting
Is this the Guitar Hero guy?
He's talked about being part of that. It's going to
Is
be
this the
it's
Guitar
gonna be
Hero
that
guy? This is great.
No, different guys.
Excellent. Well, he's definitely on a digital input, shall we say?
I think that's binary input.
Yeah, thank you. That's more accurate. You were saying, sorry. Sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to give a shout out to Donnie for doing a fantastic job getting around Road America without a steering wheel. Shout out, man. That's hard. Good job.
Is using a vice grip on the. Actually,
he's touching wire. He's churning butter and touching wires together just for you, Churchville.
So I would say another controller option is you get your standard steering wheel, your Logitech or whatever, your Thrust Master, and you take the steering wheel off, put vice grips on it. And actually, I knew somebody who drove a GMC value van back from the gig with vice grips instead of a steering wheel, and it sort of works. He also had vice grips as window cranks, which also works.
I've done that. I've totally
done
done
with the window.
Oh, you've got a Ford Focus, do you not?
Focus.
So,
yep, with crank windows.
Yeah. I mean, man, that's a hardship these days, crank windows. Even the Chevy Classic has power windows.
That's right.
Look how fast those wheels twitch. That's impressive. Like,
well, it's all or nothing. That must be hard on the tie rod ends, and well, I think there's not strict accuracy on parts longevity on these races. Oh, the Dead Sea bath salts. That's a good one.
Think about the how quick that rack is. That's some serious ratio.
Speaking of the Solstice, I mean, I would like to bring up my idea for the all-terrible front-wheel drive GM rally that we ought to do when the plague is finished and we can drive again. I was thinking you start at, I'm going to say, Lordstown, and you drive terrible GM cars, front-wheel drive GM cars, starting with, the Citation all the way through, last week.
Start with a Tornado, even.
Those aren't. Well, they're terrible. All right, fine. Tornado's fine, and drive from Lordstown to what's now the Tesla factory, which was Fremont Assembly, where they built some of the shoddiest Novas ever made. I'm not talking about the Toyota Nova. I mean the real Nova. And I think that would be quite a rally. I mean, we'd all stop, we'd eat. I mean, what's the sort of front wheel drive GMist food? Like uncooked hamburger, I'm going to say.
No, it's the specialty of the town Sandwich, Illinois, which is from near where I grew up.
There is a town called Sandwich.
That's correct, but its food specialty is not a sandwich. It's called a beef roll, which is just
it's like raw dough rolled up. It's rolled up around the cow head.
That's exactly it. It's basically like roast beef in a giant, like, not a tortilla, but like a big fluffy. I don't know what the hell it is.
I don't know. That actually
just beef and a tortilla, basically.
If I had my Olds LSS and I'm driving from Lordstown to Fremont Assembly, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's totally on point. And by the way, Olds LSS car we've never seen in a Lemons race.
I don't even get me started. I'm getting a little venous and heinous thinking about that. So let me talk about what I had for dessert tonight. So I went out to this hipster restaurant in Denver and got to-go food because the communists have closed everything down, so I had to get it to go. I made my own bread. I made the no-knead bread recipe where I mixed. This is a bad idea. I mixed cocoa powder and sugar into the dough, and then added a bunch of chocolate chips, and thought, I'll have some nice chocolate bread. It turned out to be. It was chocolate influenced, I'm going to say, but it wasn't quite like a pan chocolat, it didn't quite make it to that point. It was definitely the kind of food you eat during the plague. You know what I'm talking about. At the Gobbler.
There's the Nelson Ledges food.
That's right.
Totally Nelson Ledges.
I mentioned the pile of blood, right? Yeah, okay. I talked about the pile of blood. So at the track at Nelson Ledges, back to some of our reminiscing about it, the control tower, I mean, it's kind of a weird sort of name because there wasn't really a lot of control going on, but in the control tower you couldn't see anything out the windows, not because it was so dark, but because the people inside the control tower were smoking 6 Winstons each. It was like hot boxing expired half-price tobacco the whole night. And I remember going in there and then going back out to the penalty box, and I still felt like I was catching black lung, because even outdoors at Nelson Ledges, the chain smoking was so hard that you were going to catch some secondhand smoke, black lung, being outdoors. It was that good a race.
That's 2009, October
2009, yeah. It was when that was my second year of being a Lemons judge, and we didn't know what we were doing. So, and Jay was such a stress case. He was like, "Oh man, it looks like people might die." It's like, well, yes, in fact, there are many ways people might die, but the odds are on our side. Jay worries about people dying. It's I guess when you own the series, you do that. But there were so many different ways people could die that there was no way to worry about them all properly, And we did our best to stay on top of it, and nobody died. So that worked out pretty well. And in fact, the standard toast that all the Lemons organizers do when we're having a drink after a race where nobody died is nobody died, and we clink glasses, and we're very happy about that. Nelson Ledges taught us that, sometimes you just have to rely on luck, and we did that. And since that time, we've tried to stay on top of all the things we can control, and we've learned that there are things that looked like we could not control at Nelson Ledges that turns out you can. Like, there is a way to keep scary zombies with one eye and 7 cigarettes from shambling out of the woods and stealing all your tools and generators. There's a way to do that, and we learn how to do that. For example.
I gotta cut you off for just a second. Matt Murphy's iRacing just crashed while he was in the lead. So, chat, can we get F's in the chat for Matt Murphy?
Well, I just won't talk.
No, keep talking.
Yeah.
I just wanted to drop that bomb. Yeah, F's in chat for Matt Murphy.
Leading the race by over a minute, and
Yes.
iRacing crashed.
Yes, been there.
Well, so Steph Schrader is talking about how she'd like to judge a race. I thought we'd let her judge a few times, but what I keep telling her is, well, you need to finish that documentary you were doing when you were a student at Baylor, when you were first coming to Lemons races and you were a documentary filmmaker. You were making a documentary film about lemons that never actually got done. I want to see that. You show me that film and you will judge races. No response yet. She's frantically typing with both fists right now. And speaking of fists,
Too Far From Women just took the Class B lead also. So I think all three classes have changed in the last 2 minutes, but
To survive, you must.
don't actually care that much. But
Watch it, son!
head to the last 10 minutes of the race. I think we've all survived-ish.
Yeah, definitely.
well, the same
We've
bottle
thrived. We've thrived.
of Morangi Scotch that I got as a bribe a while back has made it through about 4 of these races so far. So really, my alcohol consumption has been a little lower than it would be after a typical Lemons race session. So that's the plague making us all be locked in, I guess.
It got really quiet.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for somebody to
go
say
for
something.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the battles are at here because all the scoring's got it all listed. Even by when you go and look at it by class, it doesn't show me any gaps or anything. So
So you can hide. I don't blame you. You're a tramp. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, that was right where you wanted it.
Snoochie Boochie's in the lead for Black Maven Motorsports. It's a fantastic thing.
Hey all, it's Rude. We're gonna do some interviews after the race, so stick around. We'll grab a couple of you and throw you into the broadcast booth. Thanks. There's about 10 minutes left. Have fun, guys.
I just got kicked out. But I'm back now.
You're still in
I
here
was
talking
still
to
in the
us.
broadcast booth. Nailed it.
Here, I got you.
Yes.
Here you go. Ready, set, go. Here, I dropped him in there. He'll get it this
I've
time.
lost the video
Just
here.
wonderful.
I'm starting to kind of panic now. Do you want me to panic? All right.
What's wrong?
The scabies.
What's wrong?
I could talk about pushing Tic Tacs down the pee hole with a chopstick, but I don't think I need to.
No time to panic.
Okay, what were you just
We
saying?
just lost Rude. Oh God,
No,
Ed,
no,
where
no.
are you? He's drowning in the 6 inches of water in his basement. What's
No,
that
he
say?
he went
That's
to
a
tell the
good
drivers
thing.
He went
No,
to tell
no,
the
he-
drivers to stick around post race so we could talk to
No,
him.
he's got the scabies and the Tic Tacs down the pee hole. He was gonna say it's
Did you
Illinois.
say what did you say you got kicked out of the session?
Nothing. I said nothing.
Okay.
Is that, by the way, is that really your beard? Is that the beard you're sporting now?
Which one?
Well, I'm seeing an avatar of a guy with a really pretty impressive beard.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. Do you have
Yeah.
that? Do you wear that beard every day?
I do. It's attached.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to
Good.
point out. I just wanted to point out while we had a minute. So you'll notice that tonight, and I've been working on it throughout the course of the race. The chat is overlaid on the stream so that all of our platforms can interact with each other. So if you guys post something in chat, the people on YouTube, the people on Facebook, the people on Mixer, the people on Twitch will all see what you're putting in chat, depending on whatever platform you're on. It doesn't matter. So everyone
God
can mingle
help us all.
together and talk and have a great time. So fantastic. Welcome back, Eric.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to embarrass myself that way.
Frank Dick. Oh, that's
No,
okay.
What about your the problem you had with the 6 inches of water in your basement and the scabies and poking Tic Tac and the old chopstick?
I can't even say scabies. There, I couldn't say it. It was making me laugh. You are
That's a
amazing
normal
at
Sunday
broadcasts.
evening.
You are amazing at broadcasts. No, you just play it off like they do on NASCAR. Like they're like Jeff Gordon, you got a copy.
This is just like a NASCAR broadcast, I would say.
Yes,
I'd say
even better.
well, we don't have Daryl Waltrip, so we're like +2 on that.
So can we
They
start
don't anymore
discussing
either, so he
right.
gone. He gone.
Can we start discussing some heavy-duty literature the way they do at NASCAR? Because I gotta say, like, I was just having this
discussions
debate.
are top
Any,
notch.
I was
any
having
cars
this
you want me
debate
to
the
put
other
on the
day.
screen here during the last 6 minutes, and then we can finish that conversation about broadcasters.
Oh, we're talking about literature. I was gonna say,
literature. Well, there's
finest novel originally written in English. I mean, if you get out of English, I'm
Sam
gonna have to
Mouse
say
is
it's
one,
Under
we're
the
wanting to
Volcano
up
by
the
Malcolm
Twitch
Lowry.
viewers. Yeah, let's get the Twitch viewers going again. We lost them. We're down to 3.
So don't we have like one Twitch viewer? I mean, are these people really
3.
important in our world?
We had 13. We had 15 earlier. 15. It's amazing.
So I'm not really on the Twitch thing right now. I got the YouTube thing going.
Yeah, if you make it full screen, you'll see all the different people talking on the different platforms. Well, you don't have to make it full screen, but you can.
Like that one cool trick? All right, hang on.
No. It's just, you can actually read the screen if it's full screen.
I got
And you
3
can see-
monitors here right
This
now.
is
though.
way more informative than a NASCAR broadcast
You know, I
pre-game.
gotta say
Way more.
this-
Hey, is there a Tic Tac story that you could tell, Judge Phil?
Not that I could tell.
Okay, because I'm trying to think.
So,
Let's just say when you're getting your haircut behind the aquarium.
and I'll just leave it at that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it
All right,
sounds.
we'll go through and show each car for a little bit, so everyone can check out the fantastic liveries. Oh yeah, big dogs.
So I'm just gonna say, like the Tic Tacs and the chopstick and the pee hole. Get the mint ones. They're kind of a cooler sensation.
Mint
If you can't
chopsticks,
run
like
with
is that like the
nail
mint
on the
dental
board.
floss?
So am I supposed to have Twitch and YouTube and all of these other things open at the same time in order to kind of be kicking with it? You know?
NBC Sports and Fox Sports and
No, if you literally
the
go to
the reason I
Mixer,
opted
if
out
you
of all popular culture in 1983 was that, you know, it's all just very confusing. That's why Russian literature has actually served me a lot better. So
Mixer
let's talk about
ghetto.
Goncharov now, shall
we're
we?
actually live right now on
What a-
BBC Three.
what about the Jamaican racetrack story?
Oh, the Jamaican racetrack. So I like the idea of putting all of the lemon teams that wanted to go do this race on an iron barge in Houston and towing them over to Jamaica and letting them race this track. But from what I understand, I mean, I actually wasn't the one that went and looked at this track. That was Jack Glenn. And he's pretty safety conscious, and he was saying he was scared to death. It was like literally people dumping wash water out of their windows onto the track, and they had actually rigged up, well, you wouldn't want to call it K-wall, it was more like O-wall, because it was sharpened cylindrical spears that were aiming at like eye level. And the whole thing, I mean, it sounds pretty great to me, and if we ever did liability-free lemons, well, that would be Russia, actually, because then we'd have loops. We'd have loop-to-loops and fire pits. But this Jamaican track sounds pretty masculine, if you know what I'm saying. And the food in Jamaica, you eat some festivals, which is like fried dough, wash it down with some red stripe, and then have some what they call jonko bati, which is a very obscene term used to describe a really vile kind of bathtub rum. And I had some, and I've still got the Jake leg as a result. Jonko bati, don't look that up because it's you don't want to see what the images that come up for that are.
Should point out, by the way, Lemonade Racing 53, their team captain sending me a note to point out that Jake Haman in the car is doing excellent. So shout out to Jake Haman in the car 53
Man, Jake, you are owning it.
of the Polka Kings.
There he is.
I know those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the individual driver names are sometimes kind of hard, but the team names are a little easier.
Yeah, it's a weird thing when you see 400 people on a weekend. It's hard to remember more than like 15 names.
And the problem is that it's so many of them are just, you know, they're eating the Utz cheese balls and drinking the Natty Light, and you go from one track to another. I think it's a lot like like maybe being a member of the Scorpions in like 1987, like, oh man, we just played Iowa City and now we're in Rio de Janeiro. Same thing. You know, I think it's kind of like that for us, except I bet the Scorpions never had a pile of blood in the hotel room. Kind of know what I mean. I wish we'd taken a picture of that, but digital cameras and phone cameras really sucked back then, back in the day. And we really didn't document the squalor of our hotel situation with the pile of blood. And although I gotta say, like, one way to judge how nasty your hotel room is, this is a little inside Lemons organizer tip here. Always look at the ironing board, because they never change that. Look at the amount of blood on the ironing board. If it's just a couple of spots, it's fine. If it's covered with blood, then you know you've had more than one person get beat to death in that room on the ironing board. And that's a good way of judging. It's a Lemons inside tip there. You drive your Dodge Journey to the hotel. You're so glad to get out of the Journey. You're a sigh of relief. You go into your hotel room and you realize like 5 murders happened on my ironing board.
All about the caliber. We had less than a minute left in this event.
All right, let's get back to
what's going on in the background. While we talk.
Can we talk about the greatest success of this evening is us somehow figuring out how to fill 2 hours and 20 minutes of this book.
We do that every week.
You know,
what are you
we
talking
could totally do
about?
2 more hours. Let's just fire up another session.
Here.
Let's do it.
It's done.
Set up another race and we could talk about practice.
Talking about practice?
I need to race in one of these things. I need to get a controller and that I make myself and do my livery and all that. I think I'd be the Leonid Brezhnev would be mine, or maybe Richard Nixon, or maybe both.
I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Donnie Petrunak and Fail Inc. for racking up the most incident points at 77 for the evening.
Well, do you get 1 point per incident, or do more severe incidents get more points?
Yeah.
What car number is? Oh, here we go.
20.
Wait.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
This is the kind of performance I expect out of Donnie.
Well,
You know, when you're driving with a keyboard, you know, it's gonna happen.
True.
I witnessed him doing a starter swap in an LS400, and his use of tools was very similar to his use of a steering wheel here.
Looks like a checkered
He
flag.
had a little problem with fire ants combined with scabies, though, so we don't really need to explore that further, do we? So, by the way, that reminds me, when the CMP races, Sasha Rashev, one of my favorite Lemons racers, and also one of the ones I most dread having to see in the penalty box, because he's kind of a difficult man to communicate with sometimes, told me this joke, he's Russian, about back in the Soviet days, this guy calls the plumber up to get an appointment to fix the plumbing in his Moscow apartment. The plumber says, okay, that's going to be 10 years from now. Put it in your calendar. And he goes, well, will that be in the morning or the evening? And the plumber says, well, what does it matter? It's 10 years. He's like, but I have the phone company guy coming in the morning. Yeah, very Soviet. You have to I think you had to be a Soviet to really get that grip.
It's like we're headed for the post-race demolition derby, as is tradition.
You know, I really like this lack of death. The lack of death is one of my favorite things about iRacing. Actually, it's my very favorite. Because there's so much possible death in the way that people drive in these iRacing races. Oh, wow, we're doing
If you want to see digital death, I did stream a couple hours of Wreckfest earlier today, and the link is on the Lemons iRacing Facebook page. Phil, you would really appreciate Wreckfest.
I guess so. Although, like I said, I mean, I'm a big fan of pole position with the Power Glide.
I went on that too, but I was literally racing a couch earlier today.
Can you race a couch?
People get ejected off of couches.
Can you race a cow?
You can race a couch. You can race lawnmowers.
No, a cow.
Combine. No, you can't race a cow.
I want to race a cow.
Combine.
Can you race a goat?
Caravan, school buses.
Can you race a lawn chair being towed by coyotes?
Whoa! Whoa! He gone.
It hadn't come down.
Oh, wow! That's 130 miles an hour.
And don't worry, folks. When the demo derby's over, we'll go back and play the whole thing again. It's 88 miles per hour. Did you see that?
Right before the hit.
88 miles per hour.
That would not be a
21 gigawatts.
Funeral. That would be a closed.
Look at the pile of cars on the top. Oh, gotta back up some more. Oh, I'm
That
too
would be a
close.
closed
Oh my
Tupperware
god.
funeral.
Yes.
Oh my god. No, post race demolition derby.
Like a
Yeah.
junkyard.
Wow. It
Terminators
doesn't.
now.
It looks like an episode of Junkyard Gold over here now.
Post race turn 1 action brought to you by Jiffy Pop Popcorn.
Yeah, that was. And it's not over yet, I don't think. Oh god.
I don't know. Is that the Miata that the first hit? That first
Shit's
hit
getting way
Miata.
too complicated for me. Shit's getting way too complicated for me.
What is physics?
God.
What's real life? You know?
This is certain.
Well, that gets us back to Russian literature, and let's get started on that. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to make you guys deal with that.
Daryl
So
Walsh
there's-
taught Russian literature.
I
There's
believe
still 20
NASCAR
cars on
NASCAR
track. Get your
broadcasts
butts over here.
Bring a lot of literary kind of discussion in, right?
I'd like to hear your dissertation on War and Peace, Phil. Go.
I gotta say, like War and Peace. I mean, it's fine. You know, go ahead and read it. It's a little lighthearted, though. I gotta say,
Chekhov's word.
really, Chekhov. I mean, you can get more depression and gloom out of a single Chekhov 10-page story. You can get out of 1,000 pages of Dostoevsky. But really, Goncharov, he's the man. Or Bulgakov, because Bulgakov, he actually got persecuted by the Soviets, so he felt the pain. You know, of the little door that opens when in the Lubyanka. Nah, never mind. We don't want to go there. But
That Camaro
He's-
up on the tire wall was hit so
he's-
hard, it's
He's
Is
still
that
in there
even-
steering.
how can we tell what that
it's
is?
gone 2D. It doesn't even look like 3-dimensional anymore. It's literally gone to 2-dimensional.
That's the missing link. That's up there. It's the missing
It's,
link from the low
it's incredible. That is incredible. Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna go.
There was a
Oh,
Camaro that got some real elevation before. I'd like to see how high it got.
yeah, we're gonna get. Trust me, we're
The race leader's headed onto the main straight at the moment.
excellent.
So
we are
got
going to
about
spend a
another
good
20
5
seconds.
minutes showing the slow motion version of the demo derby.
I want to see
are
that
you,
first hit.
oh,
in
88
slow
miles
motion.
per hour again. Wow.
I think it's better than that.
Your race winners were the Bear Pope Enduro team and the
Oh, yeah, we have winners, don't we?
He's stopping on the front straight.
So are we going to use my IOE decal ever? I mean, I spent several minutes making that.
I will. I think that's reserved for the silly hats only weird control.
I mean, we need to use that, though. 'Cause like I said, it was at least 3 minutes of Photoshop work.
According to Jordan Dunn, the gentleman that was in that Camaro that got hit by that Solstice, the first impact that we saw actually broke his brake pedal
Oh,
for the.
Oh,
well,
Jordan-
press F for
Jordan's-
Jerry Mitchell. Press
Jordan's
F for
another one of
Jerry.
my favorite women's racers, although I probably shouldn't admit it over here, you know, but she's all right.
So let's give a shout out to all of our class winners. So we have Black Maven Motorsports in Class C coming home with the victory. That is the number 27 car, which is Raymond Muratori and Greg Schnittiger.
That's a Dodge
That's
Journey,
a
right?
challenging name to say. I was almost intimidated to
Journeys.
read that.
All
Yep,
Dodge
that's
Journeys.
good. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Let's see here. So that's Class C. We'll
Yeah,
go backwards.
It's a Dodge Journey in my heart.
So Class B, Damn It Doug Racing, which is car number 255. That is Peter Monin and Lee Berry. Congratulations, gentlemen, on your victory. And then in Class A, the team, like we previously mentioned, Team Bear Pope Racing, or excuse me, Team Bear Pope Enduro color name. That's great. That's entry number 000. And that is, those are drivers for that team. Excellent. Yes. Well, come on, cooperate. Okay. Well, it's not, for some reason, it's not letting me expand it, and it was already expanded. Okay. So fail. F in chat for the broadcast. Oh, there it goes. Matt Sitko and Jared Duclos. So congratulations, guys, on your class victories for all respective drivers. There's a lot of information on your screen at one time for you to try and read on your phone. Good luck.
And that's about all you get for winning this. Congrats. Congratulations. Thanks for
And
coming
then,
out.
like, somebody
Yeah.
has commented, if you poop in your dreams, you poop for real. And I mean, is that not existentialism right there, and kind of in a single sentence?
10-4 on Demo Derby, then Murphy, 10-4.
That existential sentence brought to you by the year 2020.
So do we have any
Excellent.
special corners in this race? I didn't even notice that. Did we?
Yeah. I'll show you the here's a quick.
brought to you by your uncle in Stevens Point. Ask Catherine about that; she'll tell you.
I mean, we should
Here's
have
a
had a
look at
Joe
that.
McCarthy corner because he was from Wisconsin.
There you go,
Valid.
Judge
Tail
Hill.
gunner Joe. He found communists in a lot of places, including at Road America, I'm sure.
We have Matt Murphy, who in the broadcast booth, who was leading the race when iRacing crashed. Matt Murphy, are you there?
I am, yeah. Thanks for having me.
So tell me what it's like to actually race a 1994 Chrysler Concorde in real life.
Yeah, no, it's pretty similar. Yeah, I don't know what's up with my equipment. First gen Oculus, just a 1070. I guess I have to spend a lot of money or get a motion rig or something to be cool.
I've actually got more than 50 clocks from Chrysler Concords. Actually, well, LHs too, and LHSs and so on. But from the Chrysler LH series, it's a fine clock.
I would also like to point out that if you'd like to spend a lot of money on a rig, hi, how you doing?
So what we're saying is you buy a complete Dodge Dynasty, put it up on jack stands, and rig it up as your controller.
All right, yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
So Matt Murphy, tell us how the racing was until it went horribly wrong for you.
I hadn't ran a clean lap this entire weekend trying to practice for Road America, and then I get in there and I'm flawless for an hour, and this happens. My whole thing locks up. It wasn't a hard lock on the computer, but the application definitely crashed. So luckily there was some timeout, and Nathan Adler hopped in and took it the checkers, and we still got second place. So I was pretty impressed. I mean, I think we dropped maybe 70 seconds in that incident, so not too bad, but definitely trying to pick up the pieces.
Is this iRacing's way of trying to replicate how Pat runs races on a normal weekend?
Yeah, this is the iRacing equivalent of our seat coming loose from the floor while we're on the podium. Yeah.
Yep, that was the one. That was the one I remember from MSR, where the TARP E36 randomly developed a giant crack in the floor pan during the race while they were, I think, second place, right?
Yeah, I think that's the story. Yeah, so at least we got to run most of the race that time.
Excellent.
I had my
Not worrying at all.
seat come loose on my 73 Plymouth Fury one time. Let me just tell you kids about the Fury. No, I had this former water company Fury. It was blue and white. It had a big mural on the hood that said, "Water is life. Don't waste it." It was very spacey, 70s California. And it had just an AM radio. And I always think that somebody came and loosened the bolts that held the bench seat in, but I figured maybe it was just Chrysler build quality. I remember I was driving over to take my AP exam for the only AP exam they had in my high school. And I hit the gas, and the whole seat flew into the back seat. And I remember lunging forward and hitting the brake pedal with my hand so I didn't hit too many things, and thinking, man, Chrysler, they can build a car.
And how? Well, we'll let Matt go back and
Yeah, Matt, you go.
have a celebratory beverage. Excellent job finishing.
Yeah, thanks. I enjoy all my Chrysler products for what it's worth, so I don't know what you guys' hard time is.
Aren't you one of the guys that works for Chrysler, right?
No, I work for a bank. Wrong
you
guy.
do
but,
now. You've been drafted.
Thank you. I look forward to it. Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good time. Thanks for the live stream.
All right.
Thanks, Matt. I'm pretty sure Chrysler employees are unable to operate a computer and just hit them with rocks.
What if you could be drafted by Chrysler? You wake up and it's like waking up on a Shanghai-bound ship in 1850. You're in the British Navy now. You're in Chrysler now. I mean, that could happen to any of us.
And
I willingly actually worked with SRT for multiple years. I don't know what that says about me, but I did.
How did it make you feel?
Actually, I loved it. I had a great time.
Did you work on the SRT Avenger?
No, I was driving instructor product expert for the.
Actually, that was a joke because Chrysler sadly never made an SRT Avenger, even though it would have been one of the greatest cars ever made.
I didn't even catch SRT Avenger.
They did do an Avenger RT, however, and
Yes,
Class
they did.
C exemption. If you get, I think the newest Avenger RT you can get is like 2015, 2016, maybe. If you get an Avenger RT with 3 miles on the clock, perfect condition, I'll still put it in Class C. I don't care. Avenger RT, and you'll run away with any race because it's like 320 horsepower. I mean, I really think it's the easiest loophole possible. I mean, you show up to this race with your 320 horsepower Avenger RT, you cage it, and you run away with the race. You just take all the trophies and go home. I mean, I see no weak points there.
Except for the entire suspension is your weak point.
You know, I have to say, like, there was a brand new Avenger, wasn't an RT, and this is probably why. Pulled up at the stop sign in front of my house. It was at a complete stop, and one of the control arms broke, just sitting there, clank. And the car, they had to get it towed away on a flatbed. And I'm sure that never happens, except that the owner of the car said, yeah, this is the second time the control arm is broken. It was the other side the first time. That was just bad luck, I'm sure. So Avenger RT, really, if you do not exploit that loophole, I mean, you're not really a racer.
Soggy, you are in the broadcast booth.
Oh, we got Soggy now. Hey, Soggy, how you doing?
I am doing well, thank you.
How are all your various vehicles, including the diesel Peugeot 504 that I believe live at your house?
Mostly just rusting in my yard.
Can you hold the microphone up to one of them so we can hear it rust?
No, I it's a wired mic, so I'm only allowed like 4 feet from tower.
Are you using one of those modems where you actually put the phone handset in the little cradle? It kind of sounds a little gargly.
Well, no, I'm in the 21st century. I have a cell phone booster on a 50-foot pole outside the house, run into the bedroom with my cell phone next to the antenna, tethered to my PC.
By bedroom, you mean roof?
Yes, basically.
Okay, good. I didn't want to be let down.
This is known as the Quaalude setup, am I right?
Exactly. Okay. All right. So you're pretty high tech.
He's running 56 sick bod. It's awesome.
I'm dying over here, Eric. That's too
All
far.
we need.
37 miles from the cell phone tower.
Shit's getting way too complicated for me.
That's right.
Exactly that. So, Soggy,
37 miles from the nearest cell phone.
Where did the Jetta go? Let's find out.
I wanted to talk to you real quick. You have an actual legitimate Road America story that we should cover real quickly about the Simca, and you were on French television. Talk about
that's
that
right.
real quick.
Okay, so I thought it was a joke when I got the email from this lady, and so I made it into a joke, and it was actually a real television station.
That was a good show, actually.
Interviewing and all of that. And no, it was surprisingly good, but after sarcastically replying to her email like, ha ha ha, in your face, whoever's trying to troll me, the next email in my inbox was from Nick saying, hey, I sent this to you, so be nice to this lady.
It was legit. I mean, it really was a TV show.
It was like a French.
Yeah, it wasn't even it wasn't a car show. It was like a French, let's just see how these crazy Americans live their lives show. But it worked out really well.
I think that it kind of gave a fair representation of that weekend, or weekday, because that was the Monday-Tuesday race.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, the Emile Zola references were pretty good, too.
Yeah.
So there was that. I forgot all about that. That's right. And you were a central part of that because of the Simca, which was, and the 1204, I guess they called it the 1100 in France. Really beloved French car. I mean, everybody's family grew up with one of those cars. They had picnics with them and all that. So to them, this was like an American with like a Nova, you know?
It was like their Mini, wasn't it?
It was more affordable than the Mini. Go ahead.
It was a super popular car, and they freaking hate me because of me say worst car to take on a racetrack ever.
Well, I mean, like I said, the Simca in France, they regard it as being a vehicle that would actually, take you places, where we regard it as something that it's a little appetizer for the crusher.
Yeah. No, well, there's a truck version, sedan version, hatchback version. There's a station wagon in South Carolina that I'm gonna try to get, but who knows?
By the way, what happened to the Plymouth Cricket, aka Hillman Avenger, that was at South Carolina? Who ended up with that? Was that you?
I have standards. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, it's Roots Group, though. I mean, Simca's also Roots Group, so really you're almost there.
Well, I suppose so, but...
I mean, you're drawing a line that's pretty imaginary. If you're drawing a line between a Simca 1204 and a Plymouth Cricket, I mean, they're pretty close cousins. So you might as well get that car. I don't know who ended up with that.
I'm not entirely sure to be
It was the homosexuals had it. Anyway, we'll explore this further.
Neither here nor there. We'll let Sagi get back to his 37 miles from a cell phone tower internet, and
I think it's being
appreciate his comedic response.
I'm fairly sure we literally just heard a connection being metered as we were talking to him. Like it went from 56 to 28.8 to 14.4 to 9,600 or something, whatever that was.
To an OD on Quaaludes.
That's right.
Legitimate Quaaludes have not been available since 1977. If you've got what your dealer says is Quaaludes that are actually bootlegs, don't take them.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
That's important. Good information.
I had a friend when I was in college, and this is like 1985, had a 5-gallon bucket of what he said was Quaaludes. Couldn't possibly have been legit, so I didn't take any.
Insert Lemon's reference here.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go and grab Randy Bish. Always a favorite. Randy Bish, are you there?
Evening, everyone. Yes, indeed.
How did your Sunday evening go, Randy?
Road America lived up to its name. It was this massive tract of land that didn't make any goddamn sense, and it was completely full of idiots, and I loved every second.
There you go. Someone's trying to attempt to play.
No, it was only 2 seconds, so it didn't get us banned.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Phil.
We're still watching cars running into each other, and here we go. Oh,
and there's Randy on the live stream getting punted after the race. Tell me how that felt.
Have you ever walked out of a Ponderosa and you know that like your soul is leaving your body and like you're never going to be the same person? Same feeling.
Wow.
It depends on really what happened in the bathroom.
Very literary.
Anything good ever?
Have you ever seen the pile of blood on the hotel room floor?
That's a valid pair of questions.
Oh, Donnie Iris, man. Again, I really need to listen to more Donnie Iris. I mean, I need to get more Pittsburghian.
Everyone needs more Donnie in their life. Like, Donnie, this saint. Like, you need him.
I mean, Pittsburgh really needs to have a more powerful influence on all of us.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, I mean, like
you say something bad about Pittsburgh? I mean, Pittsburgh, California is right near Sonoma, so there's that. I mean, relatively speaking.
Are they those no H having bastards?
Yeah, they don't have an H. That's the thing. They lost the H. It's sort of like losing a limb.
Yeah, that's informal crap. Like they're half-assing being a city.
I think it's a different Pitts.
So Randy, explain real quick. Can you give me like 3 sentences on explaining Donnie Iris to people who don't understand Donnie Iris?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. Imagine you walk into a bar, and in that bar is like just this absolute deity of a superhuman going Super Saiyan, just doing bar tunes. And like, oh, he's the greatest thing ever. And he gets a record deal and becomes a little bit more than locally famous for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then nothing for the next 40.
Yep.
I remember hearing...
You can still go into Pittsburgh today and probably find a show bill for a Donnie Iris gig in the next 6 months. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Every couple of months, he's doing jurgles. Like you go to a pirate game. You don't go to a pirate game to watch the pirates. You go for the occasional fireworks and Donnie Iris show.
Wait,
some good
Iris
air
plays the Pirates
right
games?
here,
Hold on a second.
Hey, Donnie Iris a Pirates game? I'd go to that.
Do you think anybody actually pays to go to pirate games? No, they pay for the
We Are
occasional
Family?
Donnie Iris show.
No shit. All
I
right.
mean, Donnie Iris at a Pirates game, man, that'd be pretty good.
Still only need to fly into Pittsburgh, clearly.
I would like to see that. Notice, I mean, I'm the right age to have experienced Donnie Iris's national popularity. And for me, it was like about a month. You'd hear the name Donnie Iris, like, I don't know, 1983. But in Pittsburgh, that 1983 never ended.
Well, I mean, we don't have anyone else. Like our next most famous person is like Bret Michaels, and he came from like the middle of the sticks.
I'm not even sure who that is. Is that up to Donnie Iris levels of fame? Probably not.
He's that Guns N' Roses dude. I don't know. I just don't
Donnie Iris
things on the Christmas parades.
I didn't even mention Donnie Iris and Guns N' Roses in the same sentence. I mean, Donnie Iris stands far taller.
Oh yeah.
Pittsburgh game. So does Donnie Iris play the national anthem in a lot of those? Because that'd be worth seeing.
I think Donnie Iris is the national anthem.
By the way, I went to an Oakland A's game one time in like 2000 where it was, the guitar wanker dude, Joe Satriani, was going to play the national anthem, but they forgot to connect his guitar to the speakers, so nobody heard him except he heard himself on his monitor. And at the very moment he was almost done, a giant buzzard flew over the stadium and dropped a dead possum on third base. And Miguel Tejada, who was the shortstop at the time for the A's, crossed himself because apparently in Dominican baseball, a bird dropping a dead possum on third base means something real specific, and it's not good.
If by the time my trip around this universe is complete, whenever I'm going back through my life and getting all the flashbacks, I hope I get to listen to that one twice.
Amen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fish, thank you so much. Always
Thank you, gentlemen. Always fun.
All right, we'll let him get back to his evening. I know most people are probably heading
they have all
back to
two
real
now.
life.
We have 2 listeners right now.
And how? Well, how do we wrap that up?
90 people still listening. 90 people.
Oh, Bret Michaels was in Poison, apparently. I knew a guy in high school who wanted to be in Poison. He called himself Nicky Poison.
That's not quite the same.
And on that note, I have chicken curry waiting for me. I'm going to go eat chicken curry.
I've already
It's
had
been a pleasure.
my octopus tentacles. Thank you very much.
Folks, I think we've learned what is our Jerry Springer final thought for the night. Bill, let's
Tic
start.
Tacs up the peel. The mint ones, though, because they're cool.
All right, Sean?
I learned that after hitting a Camaro and ejecting itself 50 feet up in the air, that a Jetta TDI will let out just a little fart about.
I saw that. A little puff of smoke in orbit.
I didn't know they do that, but it waited until it got right up to the arc of the jump and just pooted a little bit, and it was amazing.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and say that people still use 28.8 modems, and they somehow make iRacing work with it. That's amazing. That's incredible.
It is incredible. And tonight has been incredible.
This Camaro flipping over with the wheels still spinning.
It makes me want some salty meat.
Salty meats.
Springs and dual exhaust out the side.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, you can really see the quality detail went into the build.
Are single leaves too, like the cheapest AMCs of 1981.
Love those leaf springs. That's well done. That's beautiful.
And how? All right, guys, we will be back Thursday night for another pair of sprint races. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this first endurance race. I think it went well.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody died, right?
Yeah, nobody died in real life.
Yeah, the traditional toast, nobody died?
Nope. We know.
No, I mean,
We're
people
not
die
all
everywhere. But nobody died in this race.
I'm
that we know
disappointed
of.
that we didn't get any breakdancing tonight because we've had that going.
No, we
like,
don't know that. I think
no,
a lot
we've
of our
had
listeners.
well on the broadcast. The last few broadcasts, we've actually had cars breakdancing. So disappointed that we didn't get
Camaro
that
was
tonight.
definitely-
I mean, people breakdancing.
Oh yeah,
Look at
oh
that
yeah.
Camaro right now. That Camaro is totally breakdancing on the replay right now. And there was
All right,
a
good
Jetta
point.
that had electric boogaloo on the windshield banner.
So it kind of reminds me of
Dog.
True
my
that.
wife's mother had an '87 Supra that my future wife called the Body Rocket. She gave it that name, and she ended up with the Body Rocket. And all these years up until this point, because of my disconnection from pop culture, I assumed that there was some cheesy pop song called Body Rocket, like, you know, with robot dancing and all that, like Body Rocket, Body Rocket. Turns out, no, she just made it up. I'm kind of disappointed. I assumed there was some big hit song called Body Rocket that I didn't know about. Turns out, nope. It was just a Milwaukee thing.
Darren on Facebook points out, so that was just 2 hours of racing with less than 2 minutes of actual race commentary. That's right, Darren. Thank you.
That's what we're
Real race commentary. I mean, we could. I feel like race commentary is kind of overrated. You know, like
Would you like to make a toast, Judge Phil? Matthew Cox on Facebook would like a toast.
All right, I'd like to drink this toast to Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the most depressing novel of all times, called Cancer Ward. Imagine this: you're in the gulag, you've got cancer and a broken heart. I'm going to drink to that. There you go.
Here, here.
Yeah. Salty meat time.
Okay.
Good evening.
That too.
That's as good as
Hashtag
an ending
salty
as
meat
any.
time.
All right. I will see you guys next time.
Thanks, Judge Phil.
Good night, everybody.
Yep, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you on Thursday. Where are we at on Thursday?
Road Atlanta, I believe.
Oh, yes. Excellent. We'll have to come up with some kind of petite Le Mans play on words.
Indeed.
I might have to race in that one.
Yes, you should. I'm telling you, you should race in the next one, and then we'll just talk to you while you're trying to drive. There were 25 people in the Discord channel for the Enduro tonight. Could you imagine being in there with 25 people while you're trying to drive? 4 is,
I don't want to do that.
too many. Yeah, we'll have to record the chat sometime. Put a bot in there to record the chat for high quality entertainment later.
Amen.
So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Would like to thank all of our viewers on all of our platforms. You guys out on YouTube, very active in the chat. We appreciate that. Shout out to everybody watching after the fact on all of the platforms as well with the video on demand feature. And again, like we talked about, we'll be back on Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern for 2 races, 2 24-minute races from Road Atlanta. So I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And thank you for putting this on. This was a hoot, and I look forward to the next one of these we do.
And just for Steph, dong.
Dong for Steph. Not specifically for Steph, but dong. There you go. All right.
Type D in chat.
All right.
Why not?
We. All right. We out. Thanks, guys.